So just make sure the volume is leveled up. Yeah, I think minus 26 is okay. I could make it a little louder, but I feel that's good. So, here we have our selection of stuff. We have our wheel, if I can bring that up. There we go. Now, I've got so much on my screen. There we go. Spin that. Well, I say my screen, I've got two of them, but anyway. We're getting high performance sport. It does like choosing this quite a bit. And we've got engine positioning and we've got size that I will also have to do. I can stop that so it doesn't eat my bandwidth up. Okay. So we've got a mid-size high-performance sport. Is that? No. Mid-engined high-performance sport. I'll just duplicate this because it's easier than trying to remember all this stuff. And then we can go... minimize that part. We've got spin again. We've got the engine positioning, which is mid. Yeah, I'm already forgetting this stuff. So we're going to go small, medium, and large. We'll shuffle this a few times, so it's a little more randomised. There we go. And let's see what size we are getting. So we're looking at mid-engine, mid-size, high-performance sport. This is looking good so far. I do also have to just move some stuff in OBS because... There we go. That should work quite nicely. So just to make the editing and stuff work easier later on. And I did not mean to touch that window. Anyway, should be fine. So if I just switch these two, we've got a high-performance sport. I'm already forgetting this stuff. So we can go... It's going to be coupe, basically, but a more high-performance, lower-slung variant. And we are looking at... mid-size? Yes. So it's probably going to be something like this. How large is that? 2.4. That's definitely the smaller side. This, I think, falls neatly into mid-size. Not sure it's the highest performance, but it's an option. And we need engine positioning, which I think was mid, if I just check on the wheel again. I'm not showing the stuff behind the wheel also, which is not a good thing. Okay, so if I get rid of the wheel for a time. This is what we're going to start with, because it's been decided by the wheel. Maybe something a little lower slung, but good starting point. And I'm being completely dumb. I've not started with a new body. I've started with a body I already had. So that's not ideal. New car model. I'm already messing up, but hey, at least I'm early. So, reloading now. I think it was this one we were on. I think that's a coupe, so if we just go body type. No, we're on a coupe. I'm pretty sure this is the one we were just on. Correct size and all the rest of it. So that's what we'll be using to start off with. I mean, this is the sedan variant. But as I say, we have time to change this stuff and make it work. Bring up the wheel, or one of our many wheels. We've got 7 options here. So we'll bring up the wheel of 7 options. And I'm confusing the one up there with a 7. They are different. Have we got 7? We have got a carbon fibre, low-slung supercar type thing. So, yeah, as I say, I'll go with something lower. Actually, I don't know. Because the suspension and stuff can still change, so I don't want to rush into changing the body if it's not going to work. Heavy-duty ladder. I don't know what to make of this. So this is the wheel we want. We've got, okay, no galvanization or anything on the body. Brilliant, just what I wanted. No, the thing is, this isn't going to corrode on the top at all, but it's going to corrode underneath. That's just what we want from our sports car. And, okay, good, good. I was scared because sometimes it chooses ladder frame, And when it chooses ladder frame, you're more likely to get leaf springs on the front. And I'm being dumb. It's already selected mid-engine. I spoke too soon. Okay, so we've got two options. We've got, are we going with leaf spring? Not leaf springs. Sorry, my head just defaulted into leaf springs. I was like, that, mid-longitudinal. Okay. McPherson's strut is greyed out. I think that's because it's ladder, if I just check that. Yeah, it is. So it's a strut if it's ladder, yeah. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the body restricting me, as it sometimes is. This is fine. And let us see. Ah, yes, spin again. We almost got a 2. I'm just in panic mode now. Yep, the wheel is doing a wheel thing. Look, I was hopeful, okay? I was so hopeful. And no, I'm on mid-longitudinal. I had hopes and you just dashed from wheel. Why are you doing this? So we've got front leaf springs. At this point, that's 2.5 something. At this point, yeah, let's just throw that on. I think it might be a Corvette body. Nope, it only supports front engine. That's not going to do. I think it's like a mid-engine and a front engine version. No, there isn't. I'm just being dumb. Okay. Like, this is going to look absolutely atrocious. Or actually, I can do some finer adjustments and kind of cheese it. I'll probably do this. Because it's always going to ride this high no matter what I do. But I can change the ride height, so yeah, I can do this. So we'll go -10. I've done it before when something got a live axle coil on the front. Like, it'd at least make it look half decent. And then to compensate, like, I don't believe this affects it mechanically, but it makes the car look so much better. And to counter that, I will raise the engine up, which I believe is position Z, and it doesn't have an engine yet, so I'll have to see. But I think that's it. So we can raise the engine up. And this is definitely the right kind of body, but it's just... It's selected front leaf springs. That's not going to make the car undrivable, necessarily, but it is bad. It's going to definitely require a lot more tuning on my part. And I'm going to need to bring up the random colour selector, so... Yeah, it's even in, like, the suggested search results, because I use it so much. At least on Chrome. So we've got this colour. This is the one that starts when you open the web page. That's going to be the one I'm going to firstly use. We are getting a kind of lightish green. Control V. There we go. Vomit green. I don't know. It could work. It's not necessarily going to be the worst colour. I could definitely see this working in a kind of exciting, sporty car. The, okay, it's giving us a nice neutral silver. This is not the worst. So if we go, let's just change the front bumper. Because it will change, but this gives us an idea of what colours we've got. And it lets us have both colours showing at once. So just hide the wheel to show that. If I have the two colours we've got, I think I can make this work. I think that's not going to look too bad. If only I could say the same thing about leaf springs. Now, will the wheel redeem itself? I've copied all those, so I can just close that tab. Famous last words and all that. So we want wheel of 2. Yeah, that was a very weak spin, which I didn't show. We're getting spin again anyway, so not like it'll matter. We have got... have we got 2? I hope so. Okay, it's kind of redeemed itself, even with front leaf springs. We have got a 4x4 setup. I wonder what Insanity is going to give me for the engine. So I have got 5 options here. We're going to need this wheel then. That's going to be, which kind of all-wheel drive do we get? We're getting helical. That's not too bad. I think it's better than viscous, and if we're going for a sports car, it's certainly going to be better than 4x4, but it has got front leaf springs, so make of that what you will. We need 4. So yeah, 4 options here. I could actually shuffle this. No, I think it is shuffled. Just so it doesn't have like an obvious order of numbers and stuff. V60 longitudinal mid-engine car. Now this could turn out to be quite interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it makes a difference how aggressively I spin the wheel, but we have got a V8. Okay, is the wheel trying to redeem itself now for the front leaf springs? Who knows? I certainly don't. So we have got got to choose a material that we are allowed to use. Let us see. Will we get cast iron? No. I mean, it's given us carbon fibre bodywork, so even with front leaf springs, there's a chance it's still going to be quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it gave me carbon fibre bodywork, and then it's like, you're going to also have a ladder frame. Every supercar needs a ladder frame. Is it going to give me overhead cam again? It loves giving me overhead cam. So we've got spin again for the time, and I will do that. We've got a 3. Okay. We've got overhead cam. Better than direct acting overhead cam. I probably should not say these words, but yes. Because it does me in if I try and say anything nice about the car. And then it just gives me something absolutely horrible as the next option. Okay. Are we getting 2? Number 2? Yes, 3 valves. First time on stream it's built a 3-valve engine. There's our stuff. So we're going to get, what do you call it? I think a V8 can go up to like 9 litres if the body will take it. So we've got aluminium billet race. That's pretty good. Light, decent header. Not 4 valves, but much better than a 2-valve in my opinion. And there is engine size. So we've got engine fitment. I can change the body. That's one luxury I can be afforded. So this can't really go up above 5 litres. But we are mid-size. So there's a lot of options in terms of body. If I just close this for now. There is a number of options in terms of which body we go for. I can turn the music down on my headphones. So we want it to be low slung. It has chosen a high performance. 2012 coupe. This one seems small enough and it looks like maybe it'll take a big engine if I'm lucky. It does look very high performancey, so 2.6 meters. I don't think that's particularly massive even for a sports car, which are typically a little smaller. Or should I say a supercar body type thing. I don't think it likes the leaf springs. Have I still got my fancy lowering settings? Yeah, I have. That's being lowered, it looks that tall. So, you know, like, it is a cosmetic thing. It doesn't affect the car otherwise. If I do that, it's just cosmetics, but it makes it look so much better than just having a unnecessarily tall supercar because of the leaf springs. So yeah, this engine can fit a massive... This car, sorry, can fit a massive engine. Like, I'm not going to go above 9 litres, but it's good to know that this can support that, should I need to. So, I'm going to have to... I think I'll reuse one of these wheels. Like, I've got mid, front and whatever. Front, rear, and mid-engined, not sizes. This might have been... I don't know, I can't remember now. It has been changed. Anyway. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't use less than 2 litres because it doesn't give the car any power. It's happened once before. Okay. In some ways this is solid. A 6 litre V8 which will fit because of a type of body. And we get a lot of freedom in how we size the thing up. So far, it's looking like it could be a high performance car. As I say, front leaf springs, it's not going to handle the best, but... Okay, those proportions will do for now, because we are allowed up to 6 litres, as the wheel has it. 6 litres for a V8, it can handle it with this number of cylinders. It's not crazy. And it has 3 valves. So this size, even if we don't get a turbo or a supercharger, it is going to be working out, I think. As I say, the thing is probably going to be quick. It's just how it's going to handle with these leaf springs. I really am not sure. Race tyres would help, but I shouldn't speak too soon. We've got forged steel, crankshaft, good. Even if it's a heavy-duty one, thus not as good for high RPM. And we've got cast light. Yes, wheel, you've done another wheel thing. We're getting cast now. At least that's good for RPM versus other types of cast, which will not rev out at all. I'll have to see, but I might have to go for a slightly higher revving engine. Cast light, okay. Not the worst. At least it's maintained the kind of lightweighted nature, other than the crank, which is forged, so it's going to be slightly better at putting down power anyway. So are we getting... okay, balance shafts. That's a certain level of redeemment, but it's not really going to help the engine that much if the rest of it is terrible. We want variable valve timing of some kind. Will we get it? Who knows? Okay, we're getting VVT. I will take that as a victory, albeit a very small one. Was that on 2? Like, my head is just skipping ahead of itself. Yeah, that was a 2. This is also a 2. Which, I think VVL isn't terrible, because CVVL, which I believe continuous variable valve lift, is not giving me as much a level of adjustment. So, there is more adjustment there, at least, if nothing else. We have 4 types of aspiration now, and we have different types of turbo, should it select that option. So, okay, naturally aspirated, that's fine. We're not going to run into torque issues as readily as if it wasn't. I mean, if you're getting a 2 litre and it's naturally aspirated, power may be an issue. In this case, it's not so much of an issue. That is a great number of numbers. That's because it was the engine size. So we are going to go... we've got fuel injection. So far, it's been fairly kind with what this engine is. Kind of like a retro supercar engine, if not a modern one. I'll probably want to go with an older body, just because if we're looking at like a weird 70s supercar, which for who knows what reason they chose mechanical, not mechanical, if for whatever reason they chose front leaf springs, it sounds like something they would do on a very weird 1970s sports car. And we've got spin again. The whole thing is just saying very strange 1970s supercar, sports car. So we've got single, but we've got like the worst fuel injection, but we have not got a single barrel carburetor. So I will take that as a victory. I say the worst. Honestly, I think it might make more power than single point electronic injection. So maybe not the absolute worst, just the lowest options, most primitive, if you will. 6 options for fuel, at least on this stage. We are getting 5. Is that methanol? I think nitromethane is the one which gives you terrible fuel economy, but maybe a decent amount of power. I'm sure I had a car, it made like under 5 miles per gallon with that technology, so that's something. We have got 6 options, yes. So this is still the correct wheel. And it's chosen 2 5s in a row. Not that I should complain, because that's a performance high intake. If not race, it is still pretty darn brilliant. So we've got 6. I do want to change the body, but then I don't know how it's going to work out later on. Yeah, this is nice. Like, as far as a randomly spun engine, the wheel has done much crueler things to me. I probably shouldn't say this, because we know what happens when I try and be optimistic with this wheel. We know exactly what it does to me. It gives me a number 1. Thank you for demonstrating, wheel. And what will we get next? Are we allowed bypass valves? Okay. Some kind of redemption for only having a single exhaust. At least we've got a very good race exhaust, even if we're only allowed 1 of them. And that should help somewhat. I'm curious to see what power this thing makes before I even touch it. So we have got a catalytic converter. I don't think it's going to be the absolute worst for fuel efficiency. Might not be the best, though. Depends how heavy it is. I mean, it has got a carbon fibre body, so that's something. I mean, in the 70s, it probably wouldn't be carbon fibre, it would be fiberglass, but the idea that I can see remains. We've got straight through. Is this thing going to be obnoxiously noisy? So, let us see. Yep. We've got one muffler and it's a straight through. This thing is going to make a lot of noise. And it also doesn't like webbing out, but we have a lot of sizing possibilities with this body, so we can change the bore and stroke and stuff, try and get a little more torque and power that way. So if I just mute the audio, music, whatever, I can let this thing be heard. The engine curve does need work. I'll run this again, actually, because of how the wheel was up and I was turning it off and stuff. Okay, the engine goes kind of wild when the valve lift kicks in. That's one thing I do like about the non-continuous VVL. Like, it kicks in and the noise just goes completely wild. It does that on pretty much all the engines. And I do like it, even if it's not technically the best. We're making 430 horsepower anyway, and I'm pretty sure we can keep that. Maybe even make 500 from it. It's not a bad base setup for an engine, all in all. So, spin this again. We are getting a 5, I think? Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wheel, I may know what you're thinking, and I don't like it. Yep. We're getting a 2-speed dual clutch. Even on the things I've built off stream, it seems to have gained this obsession with giving everything 2 speeds. I mean, as I say, technically it's got no mind of its own, but I do feel it does these things like it does these things over and over again, strangely, even though I completely reset the wheel for each stream or whatever. So we've got helical. Ooh, I think we've got helical all-wheel drive and a helical differential. That's a interesting coincidence. We can go 65% of the way, which will probably be the best option, honestly, to send more power to the back so the thing actually takes a corner. But we can send more to the front should we need. Now, what tyres? Is the wheel going to do a wheel thing and choose cross-ply, as it so loves doing? I was thinking, am I on the wrong wheel? Yep. You get cross-ply. You don't even get race cross-ply. Just cross-ply. Okay. Wheel, are you going to try and redeem yourself here? Are you going to try and do something nice for me? I was like, wait, are you going to give me chunky off-road cross-plies? Spin again. It's not giving me chunky off-road yet. I'm actually living in fear now. It's strange because usually they name the stream something and then it's like, fine, I'll give you radials. Nope, this time it's just giving me this. At least I could build it into an off-road thing because it's got all-wheel drive, it's got off-road tyres. I'm going to have to get rid of 22s. 22 inches are far too large. So, I'm thinking Lancia Stratos. Like, if I could get something like a Stratos, I'd be fairly happy. The tyres are not good at all. You may be able to see that. That is not what you want on a track car. So it's not going to be the quickest thing, but we do have all-wheel drive. It's quite light, particularly on the top end of the car. That may help us. So I'm going to see what kind of bodies would match this vision of a car, so to speak. So I'm going to have to go back in time. We have got the engine, like, predefined, so if I have to go with something a little different, I can. So that's 2009. There's a lot of modern supercar-type bodies here. That looks like a Crown Victoria or something. That's not what I'm going for. So, well, not what the wheel is going for, should I say, because the wheel did decide upon this. That's, I think, XJ220. It looks very short, though. The slightly larger body of this would... I would say it would work. It would fit, but I wanted this to match the slightly obscure, let's say, propositions. Not proposition, prompts, but the wheel has given me. I think I'll need to choose something, like, quite 70s, as I say. You know what? This is like the Bolide body from BeamNG. It kind of fits the vision I've got. Granted, it is a little more low-slung, but this fits the engine, so that's an option. If I could find a bit of that, like a body like that with less bodywork attached to it. There's the Porsche. There's only so far you can go back before things stop being low slung. That, hi, Elena. I am dealing with wheel antics currently. It's decided to give me front leaf springs and the worst tyres in the game. So, that's a thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to have to choose a body here that will, I think, work. It's going to be like an off-road supercar. Like, this is how it's going to be. That is, the wheelbase on that is very strange. Try this one. Because it has to be a very low car, as it chose high-performance sport. Something is just completely broken with that, how the wheels show. So, I won't be messing with that one. This is still very small, but... let's try this. You can actually get a lot of these 70s bodies are very low. And that one doesn't even fit the mid-engine layout, surprisingly enough. Okay, what have we got here? Yes, that suits it. The engine just sticking through there. Perfect. No convertible type. Why can't it go on? Oh, I need to select a body. I'm just being completely dumb. So, there we go. Anyway, yeah, the worst tyres you can get in the game, that's what the wheel has given me. So I'm going to have to try and make this work somehow. Let's just try those wheels. It gave me actually a very good engine, and then it did this to the engine. Like, no, then it did this, yeah, like, you're going to have the engine with terrible tyres. Okay, that's some whip. That's not as hopeless as it could be. So, we can move on. There's a battle royale. Wait, I have to do my command. I have to win. I have to win at all costs, even if it means using the cheat command. So, we have 5 options to choose from. And it loves choosing spin again. It's been choosing it a lot today, and I haven't even brought the wheel up, I'm being dumb. Anyway. Let us see. Cheat more. No! I don't know, I'm saying no about something, either the cheat command or the drum SLS, which it has chosen. I feel like this falls into kind of the category of the car is so bad it's funny. Yeah, you could give me disc brakes on the rear, not on the back, not on the front though. So, how many brake pistons are we allowed? Is it going to give me like 6 piston disc brakes on the back? No, less unbalanced than it could have been. But still, the brakes are not good. So... oh no, I've been defeated in the Battle Royale. On the upside, I think the wheel has chosen a 6. Yes. So we get a race diffuser. Well, that's something. Yeah, try and redeem yourself now, wheel. I think it's a bit late for that. I'm doing the cooling flaps. I could actually do a whole aero thing, so... we'll go with, no aero, we're only aero, or, all aero. Shuffle this a few times. And then let's see what we get. Okay, we've got we're only aero. This could be a lot worse. Sakura has won, yes! My child has cheated. Somehow. I mean, not cheated at all. My child has completely done fair battling there. Yes. So I'll just throw this wing on here for now. It's not going to be final, but it is a wing. Then what have we got here? Got other diffs and stuff. Yeah, Sakura now has 500 Guy coin. So, have we got yeah, I forgot that wheel. Spin it for what kind of interior we are allowed. Okay, we've got a race interior. That's not the worst. Not the heaviest. So I think we've got 6 options. I'm going to go 8 track onwards. Sekiro is now getting attacked. Okay, we've got 8 track. It is at least going with a 70s thing. It's at least sticking with a 70s thing, which I can appreciate. It's kind of building a consistently 70s car, other than the carbon fibre bodywork. We've got a premium 8-track for luxury. It doesn't even play cassettes, but you get a luxury 8-track player. Yes, that's exactly what we want in our high-spec car. And leaf springs. This thing is... It's a disaster, but it's also kind of funny, so I don't mind. The wheel is just being so cruel to me, it's actually funny. We've got electric steering, or electric variable even. That wasn't around in the 70s, and I'm not complaining. Because at least it's got power steering. And we're not allowed anti-lock brakes. Yeah, it's just building a complete disaster of a car. I mean, it could have probably gotten away without power steering, to be quite honest, but... Nope. You're getting power steering and no anti-lock brakes. It's going to be a bit of a handful, I can tell that much already. Spin again, the spin again, and spin again, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got, yeah, we've got to spin again all the time. Yeah, I mean, this thing, the colours will get better, but it's an absolute disaster. If this is quick, honestly, I would be kind of amazed. I think it's all going to be on me at this point. Like, can I tune a car? Because if this thing is, like, completely undrivable, it's going to half be the wheel's fault and half me for doing a terrible job of tuning it. So I had better know how to tune a car. Got standard modern safety for some reason. Well, look, okay, it's given us modern safety gear. I probably shouldn't complain because the safety gear is the only thing you've got to protect you since this car is going off the track, whether you like it or not. We have got 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got active sport suspension. Okay, active leaf springs probably, if they can even be active. So, this thing is a disaster, but don't worry, I will put Maxwell here somewhere. And we've got absolutely basic dampers, sure. How does this thing weigh 1770 kilos? It's a bit of a boat. Like, how is it so heavy? Is it just this body? I think I'll have to see if there's another car body, because this one seems unrealistically heavy for something with carbon fibre bodywork. It should be about 1600 tops, surely. So what's the... Oh, we've got 2.3. That's a little on the smaller side. There was another body. It was like the Bolide body. That was an option. 2.5. This is possibly appropriate. Saying something about fixtures. I did add a wing, so that's probably why. Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely say that's high performance sport. It's weird and like space age, but still, the engine doesn't fit. Okay, if only that worked, that would have been fun. There's so many like retro cars, but none of them are really seeming to be appropriate for my needs. At least it shows mid-size, so we have a bit more options in terms of the car size. There is a GT40. I think I'll try this. The GT40 feels a little on the shorter side. Now the engine just doesn't like fitting. Will it fit in the GT40? It will. Like, that's barely large enough, I think, to count as a mid-size. This vehicle is just wild. Have I done something? The tyres don't quite look like they match. Ah, there it is. It's fixed that now. These tyres do not seem to go wide at all. Like, I know they're cross-plies, but there's no width to them whatsoever. There we go, 1554. At least that has fixed the weight issue a little. We've made this car have slightly less weight, probably be slightly more controllable, and also the engine actually fits in the body, so Barely, yes, but the engine does fit. So I guess going for the GT40 was the option we should have followed. 285 width, tiny wheels, because you need to do that to get width in a cross-ply tyre. We can make the actual tyres beefier, which does look good if it's going for like an off-roady theme. Then can probably make the body wider. It'll stop it rolling as terribly with these springs making it massively tall. Nope, we can't make it wider. Like, what's the difference between these two bodies? The brakes are suffering. I thought that was the engine for a moment. Like, oh no, I'm going to have to change the body again. So, 1964 coupe. That changes some stuff on the side. Is there any body morphs? Because I don't think there is. But at the same time, I'm hard-pressed to say I'll find a better body than this. I can't go with anything smaller. This is about as small and light as I can go for. So this is... I'm going to have to lean onto the off-road kind of side of things. So 285. I think I can make those... Maybe go with, yeah, 16s. Will that help? I think if I can keep this at 285 with front tyres, or 290 high, no 690 I guess. Okay, that's not the worst. Although, granted, as you can probably see, these tyres are not going to grip. They're just not going to grip at all. All-wheel drive will help, but it can only go so far with actually making this thing run. That wing doesn't actually look too bad on the GT40 body. Especially given it wasn't even on this body, I chose it. And I have lowered it. Like, this car wants to sit super high. This is after I've lowered it, it looks this tall. Like, with the body chassis settings. So, we can try moving the wheels a little wider. It's only so far they will go, though. Okay. I mean, that somewhat works. I'm trying to make cross-plies work. I can possibly make the rear tyres larger if I need to. I haven't actually spun for the wheel type. So I'll have to spin for the wheel type and see which ones I am allowed. Because it just defaulted to steels. Let us see. Do we get alloys? I think we get some kind of alloys. We get magnesium. Which is actually period accurate. Because I think magnesium were a thing before alloys were a thing. So yeah, it's definitely going for like a 1960s or 70s weird off-roady supercar thing. That's the only kind of idea I can get. Actually, you know what? We have Maxwell space. I'll have a look. I think I know. In my opinion, I think it was a Toasty Wheels was the best vehicle it built. There's the Princess Maxwell carriage. That was fun, but it only had 2 gears. Kind of held it back. There's the Maxwell Mobile. That makes cat noises. So the Maxwell Mobile is definitely up there just because it makes cat noises when you get off the power. Technically, this one, I think, is like... Mechanically, this one is definitely the best of the lot. Because it just did a generally good job. It has a solid engine. Like, just everything about this car kind of makes sense other than the MPV body. Like, it just built a generally good race car. That's probably, like, the best one it's built mechanically. But the Maxwell Mobile, that makes cat noises, and it has a Maxwell in the back, so visually, I think that one might still be the best. Although the other Maxwell vehicles I've done are also quite fun. But yeah, I think it was, the Box's Speed, or something like that. That was just a good car all around. And then we get this. It's on a ladder frame as well, like, it's not even got a proper supercar chassis. No less. I live in hope. Still, somehow. The design of this should be fun. I don't know how the downforce is. Okay, I think we can make front and rear downforce by using the settings that we have. So ramp that rear wing angle up. We can get a lot of rear downforce. How about front? Might have to go with less rear. I think we can get, as I say, positive front and rear, but I'm going to have to adjust it. Okay, that's good. Now we're making positive front and rear downforce. So it's not doing bad, at least aerodynamically. The thing is going to push itself to the ground quite well. There's actually, I think, a little too much downforce on the back and just not enough on the front, but it should work. There we go. 30 kilos on the back and 3.75 kilos on the front. That should be acceptable enough, even if I've had to push the car to get those figures. Now, I might be able to lower it a little with the suspension settings beyond what I've already done. Nope. This is as low as it's going to get, I think. I would have to raise the engine up realistically to make sense of raising it any higher, or lowering it any more, should I say. We are allowed magnesium wheels, so that's the thing. I'm going to need larger wheels though, just because the brakes are downright awful. Like, it's giving me front drum brakes. I feel like categorically this is probably going to be one of the worst cars the wheel has built, but at the same time it might be quick, no less. Despite everything, I can feel this thing maybe is quick. Short gearing. Well, it says short gearing. It's given me 2 gears. One of my greatest fears, only having 2 gears. It takes almost 10 seconds, apparently, to get to 60. Like, my car will do quicker than that, and it's not got 380 horsepower, or whatever this is. Mine's got, like, 160, and it can get close to this for speed. So, car tends to oversteer. We can probably send a bit more power to the front, because it does give me that opportunity. If I just go through here. It has got 3 valves per cylinder as well, which is a little unusual. Let's go with 50-50 for power distribution. Should make the thing a little more stable. And this engine, yes. 1 horsepower. Yeah, I think I mentioned before, but like the way they measure horsepower is strange. It's like 1 horsepower is a horse walking in a circle, and that's how they measure 1 horsepower. Like, it's very odd how they do that. Or how they did it, should I say. Because I don't think they're measuring horsepower nowadays like that. So we've got all-wheel drive. This will fit some kind of engine. So we can go pretty extreme. I'll try about 100 on bore. And then I'll adjust the stroke to match. See how this works out. This thing is going to make a lot of power though, even without a turbo or a supercharger. We are getting a lot of power out of this engine. More than I reckon the car can handle. Okay. Wait, the Conwards do not like revving now. Even though I usually, raising the bore makes them tougher. Engine bottom end component. This thing does not like revving. So how far can I go? This is, so what's happening there? An engine bottom end component has failed. I think I might just try and use the auto-tune feature for a time, just to see if I can get this to a workable state. I'll set it up for economy. If this gets it working, at least that's something to go off. Okay, it is working now. I'm not saying it's working the best, but the engine is functioning as an engine, making engine power and doing engine things. Just like you want an engine to do. Yeah, this is going to be more powerful than the, what's it called? The box's speed. That thing actually legitimately had some handling though. This has more power and no handling. So that is kind of interesting. It's like if a human made this car, I would wonder what madman had these ideas. Because it's just not any kind of logical sense in how the decisions are made. So it will rev a little. So if we can go, maybe move the peak RPM back. It actually does work okay. I mean, it's not giving me the best engine template, but I think we're good for 450-ish horsepower from this. So just bring the cam profile back a little. Yes, nice, solid torque. That's exactly what we need in a car that can't put it down. We need all the torque and all the power and none of the control. Control's overweighted anyway. You don't need control to build a car that's fast. It'll be fine. VVL. Yeah, VVL. The feature that sounds like something completely different. So, it does help me get power though. So I can say, at least I guess that's the silver lining of it all. So, 418. Yeah, honestly, all the power and no way to stop it. It has given me terrible drum brakes on the front, so I do feel like that's how it's going to be. Wait, it's given me terrible drum brakes and like the worst tyres in the game. It's like, as I say, I thought it was cruel with that hatchback it built before. Nope, that thing I think at least had radial tyres. This has like, it has a 1 and then another 1. Renova Wheel loves the number 1. So, yeah, it's chosen that. That engine is massive. It's like in the interior pretty much. You know, the engine is like, okay, I'm gonna just be a large engine and get in the way of everything. I mean, there is one thing I can do, because I didn't give the wheel a prompt for it. It's maybe a cheaty method, but there is like weight distribution. I can do that and it will move the engine back. Like, that's all I really got though, to actually give this some kind of interior space that makes sense. Although there is still not a lot of interior space. And then the fuel injection is sticking up massively above the rest of the car. Just what we need. I mean, I could try raising it up a little and lowering the engine, but I'm not sure that would look good. It already looks massively raised up as it is. It's got lighter, somehow. Somehow the car has started weighing less. So I guess that's a good thing. Suspension. Now what can we do here? Probably stiffen up the back and soften the front. That usually gives this some kind of save in terms of handling. I want to put all the Maxwells in it. Like, that's the fun part. The mechanicals is just like getting the thing to work and not be the most dangerous disaster of a death trap ever. Which, honestly, I'm sure the wheel was just trying to build a death trap at this point. Because you don't just make these decisions without some ulterior motive. The front dampers are hard, the rear dampers are hard. I can make them softer. To hopefully have some level of filtering the bumps out. I feel like this thing has to be good off-road, though, if nothing else. Because if this isn't quick off-road, there's just no redeeming factors, whatever, for this car. So, let's see. Are you, no, the front dampers are still hard, apparently. I need them to, like, soften up so they actually absorb bumps. Now, we can try the anti-wall bars or sway bars. Rightio. I mean, it makes sense that this is going to need a kind of strange setup because the suspension is very strange. Just imagine if this is the nicest handling thing the wheel has ever built. I mean, the one redeeming factor it has is the 2 gears are going to make this so slow, it might not be as hard to handle as it would seem, just because there's no power going down through these gears. But if I can tune these gears, that will not be the case so much. 5 seconds, 0 to 60. Somehow it's still quick even with 2 gears. And that speed scares me. So, the front tyres are wide. Yes, they're wide. Of course they are wide. The brakes, I'm going to need to see what I can do and how long does this... Wait, we get 7 miles per gallon. That's brilliant. The other car doing like 4 miles per gallon. I think that was the road boat. So, performance. And, this thing doesn't brake as badly as I expected, honestly. I was expecting much worse. I guess because I've chosen quite a lightweight body. We haven't got anti-lock brakes either. So good luck stopping this thing. At least with any level of stability, this thing is not going to want to slow. Ah, the jump catch game worked, yes. I'm pretty sure the stream delay is pretty bad on this, so honestly, that's impressive. So, 25 for braking. Do we want larger rear brakes or smaller rear brakes? I think it wants smaller. Unless we go with less rear brake force. It seems like that works out a lot of the time. I'm surprised this thing actually has decent weight balance given how messed up it is. Like, I'd think the weight balance would be just completely ruining it, but no, the thing is actually somewhat balanced. I could try making the tyres narrower, but I don't want to do that with how this vehicle has turned out. Like, that just seems like it would make it absolutely hazardous to try and drive. So, let's see. Are we going to get any level of braking performance? Because I've maxed out the brake size as much as I can on both the front and rear and just changed the force to try and make this work. So, 38.8, 27. Supposedly that makes it brake better, lowering that figure. So, 46.4. What does it reckon now? Yeah, I think that's the most braking I'm going to get. It does not slow. As much as I try. I mean, I could try and make the brakes smaller and just go with smaller wheels, which would mean wider tyres. It's not much of a hope, but I feel like maybe that's the better option. So we can go ramp that up to 315s. The car somehow tends to oversteer. Now I've made the back tyres bigger. So it's going to, like, snap on me more now somehow. So that's always a thing. So 42.6. 43.5. Wow, it does not like wide front tyres at all. At least on drivability. I think sportiness might be a little different. Yeah, it does not want wide fronts. I mean, I can kind of see the logic. At least if it's not going to have grip, understeer is more predictable than oversteer. So, that's a way of building a car. Very strange, though. I would have never built this car this way, though, had I been given free rein of what to do. The brakes are suffering from brake fade, of course they are. The brakes cannot work perfectly. So, how is the braking performance? 47.3. That might have got worse. Maybe I can make the rears larger? Not larger. More forcey. I mean, at this point, I feel like how much difference will my tuning even make to the car? It's so weirdly designed. It does actually, honestly. It could be called, you know, I could just call it the pickle because... Wait, I know, the flying pickle. The wheel has chosen this colour though. Like, this isn't temporary, this is the final colour that I'm allowed to use. As per the wheel's request. The flying pickle is not going to be very safe though, I can say that much. The flying pickle is going to be one of the most dangerous vehicles ever. I say, like, imagine I say this and the thing is actually quite nice to drive by some miracle. So if we go lower that, somehow this thing actually has comfort and it's not a 0 on comfort. I'm amazed by that much. It's like, it's not comfortable at all. There's probably pickup trucks that are more comfortable than this, but I expected much worse. So, I think that's something. Do we want more anti-roll? Nope, apparently not. Just the whole setup is weird. How much horsepower? Pickle. If you can get a pickle in this game, or I could just try and make one with the fixtures, that would actually be kind of fun. I might just try and make a pickle for the interior on the fixtures. I can't really cover the engine up because it's got a massive engine, but I could definitely try and do something. Yeah. Does the Cheesemobile have a power measured in pickles, I wonder? Because pickle is a legitimate power level. I have to look now. I have to search it. Like, is pickle power? Is pickle a power measurement? See what it brings up. Is pickle a power measurement? Oh dear. It's on Google, so it's literally given me a overly serious AI thing. Pickle is not a standard unit of power measurement. Yeah, no kidding. But the joke... Wait, pickle power batteries. Oh goodness, there is. There's a Game Boy battery called Pickle Power. It literally says Pickle Power on the this Game Boy battery someone's got. Yes, so pickle is a power source. Who knew? I can't believe that, though. Like, pickle power is an actual thing. And it's an actual thing that people can buy to put in their Game Boys. Oh dear, like, it was going to happen eventually. Oh yeah, cheese soda. I'm sorry, I'm being slow. Cheese soda is a power measurement. I wonder if there's like a cheese battery. If there's a pickle power battery, there might just be a cheese battery at this point. So it's giving me a lot of anti-roll on the back, which I'm not sure I like. Maybe I should just lower that until it starts impacting handling particularly. You don't really need anti-roll on the leaf springs because they're so firm in how they are set up that it just doesn't help. I'm trying to go for sportiness, but I don't want the thing to be undrivable. Okay, it does want some camber on the back for stability. I can do that much. Yes, that's helping a lot. Okay. That's something. A lot of rear camber, but at this point, things could have gone a lot worse. Let's see how that looks. Yep, those rear tyres are cambered, definitely. I do want to put some fancy wheels on here. Actually, I might know the perfect ones, because it said magnesium. And they're going to look so goofy on this body, but I love the idea. It's the torque thrusts, if I can find them. There we go. Maybe I could give it white walls as well. At this point, I could just... white walls actually fill in the tyre sidewall quite well. So there is them. Yeah, they will have to be changed in colour. But the white walls... Miscellaneous wheel 2. I think we go like convertible roof or something. I think like convertible soft top roof in white or so. That'll work. So, they're white wall tyres because it looks slightly better than having no white wall. So, there is the thing that we have got. You can see the terrible front brakes. I say, if this thing actually handles, I'll be kind of amazed. You know what it needs, though? It needs more power. It just doesn't have enough power. Because when you can't control your vehicle, what do? You add power. Like, that's the obvious decision. You don't invest in tyres or anything. You just give it more power. Yeah, if only I didn't build some cars in Forza, like, actually being like that. You just put as much power as possible in. Now, manifold size. Can we, Yes, we can push more power through it. It needs all of the power and none of the control. So, 422.1. I think we can, yeah, change the header size on the back as well. That should give us a little more power. I mean, the weirdest thing is, this isn't actually that far off an actual Ford GT40 engine that this body is based off of. But then everything else is just, why? Why would you do this to me? It's given me a good engine and it's put it in a terrible car. I mean, what's it hoping to achieve? Make the exhaust massive to put more power out the wheels. So 435.2, that's a lot of power, but not enough. I mean, the V16 in, what was it called? One other sports car I built with loads of Maxwells in the engine bay. That was, yeah, basically not Ferrari California. That one, it totally wasn't Ferrari California written backwards. Yeah, that was, that had a similar amount of power to this. But that car could actually put the power down. This is like that, but good luck trying to get the power to the road. It just isn't happening. We've got the springs and lifters. It doesn't like revving out. I could try and change the engine proportions a little more, but the engine is ginormous as it is. It doesn't even fit into the body. I mean, I could try and, like, work with that and make it a little more like some crazy Hot Wheels design. At least that's the only way I could think to make it work. Now, the engine size. Yeah, the engine size, it is just absurd. Maybe that is hitting power. I feel like if we go lower that, maybe we could get this to rev just a little higher to 6,800. Okay, that will have to do. Lose a small amount of displacement, but it will rev a little higher. Should make the power more usable than it was. We also have the counterweights. If I balance shaft, should I say, if I can use that? No, it doesn't make a difference. So we've got 50 compression. So 435.3. Cam profile. That's looking good so far. Yes. More power, more grunt, low down to push this thing along. Okay. It's not as powerful as I was perhaps expecting, but it's solid enough. Either way, I think we've got bigger issues than power. If I can lower that cam profile, though, that will make it a lot stronger on the lower end. But I have to push that up a little. So 8. That should work. Variable valve lift. Yes, that's good. It's lowered the RPM a bit as well. I mean, if I can make 435, I'll just take that. Okay, springs and lifters. I think that might do the job. So, 439.3. I think that's about as much as we're going to get, realistically, without changing the exhaust and stuff. There is a little more power in just some other settings. Don't think we're going to get 450, like I originally thought I might. Both the front and rear tyres are wide, but I can't help but feel there's bigger issues with this car than the tyres being wide. Okay, fuel map, that's getting me some power. Yeah, that's making it quite solid. I would change the engine proportions to something more even, but it just doesn't have the engine to take it in terms of RPM. If I don't have these completely messed up engine proportions, it's just not going to rev at all. Fuel map. Well, it's making 500 torque, which is quite a bit. I mean, it is close to 450 horsepower. I just don't think it'll quite get there. It would put it... It'll put it next to that car with all the Maxwells, but that's going to out-handle this with no problem, even if this makes power. For a naturally aspirated engine, it is pretty good, though, and that's kind of the upsetting thing. The engine is pretty good, but it's paired to a car which just doesn't know what to do with the power. And a transmission which shouldn't really exist, it's so bad. Like, who would decide to put a 2-speed transmission in a car unless it was literally they didn't have any money in the 1950s or something to put something better in? I can't think of anything that's really used it other than maybe drag racers. I think they use it because it's good at putting a lot of power down, but other than that, there's not really a need for or a use for 2-speed transmissions anymore. So, springs and lifters there. It's making pretty good power in the grand scheme of things. So we can bring that back a little. I mean, maybe I could smoothen out the power curve by changing the valve lift. I don't know, 4200. I think that's as smooth as I'm going to get it, honestly, without any negative side effects. Fuel map. Yes, the fuel map, okay. I think I need to, like, use the fuel map and the compression together to try and push a little more power out of it. Somehow it's still doing 7 miles per gallon. It's not good, but I feel like it could be a lot worse, given some of the insanity it has built. I guess it's because it's light. The miles per gallon on this would probably have no redeeming features whatsoever if it was a heavier car. Wait, are we going to get... I think we might get 450 horsepower. If we can get that, I'll take this as a victory, because it doesn't like making this much power, and it's not really set up for it, but it does look like it's a possibility. Gonna win very high compression, which is unusual, but this seems like the way of making power here. The Battle Royale. Have I missed the whole Battle Royale because I'm focusing too much on the engine tuning? Oh no, I haven't. So, fuel map. 48. Battle Royale is starting. Yes, I kind of saw that before it even said it. Gonna change the timing a little. I just want 450 horsepower at this point. It's like, I know it can do it. There we go. So it's making the power I wanted from the car. This is far from the most impressive engine that the real cars have ever had, but I think it's still making good power overall. The car will gain Maxwell somewhere. Not exactly sure where, but there will be Maxwells. Manifold size. Oh, making that smaller actually gives me more power. I mean, there is the airflow and stuff, but I think at this point, I just want it to make as much power as possible. At any cost to the actual Airflow and power delivery. Well, not power. The power delivery is always pretty good, it seems. I can do that much for an engine. Can see how this thing sounds in a moment. Just, Battle Royale is still going on. I don't know, maybe I'm just, quicker than I think I am. Oh. I didn't cheat. I have to reiterate, I definitely didn't cheat. There. I must reiterate that it was not me. I did not cheat. Okay, I think the engine sounds decent, if nothing else. Cheater. Hey, eating cheese, there's nothing wrong with that. And I didn't cheat. Ask Sakura. I'm sure Sakura will say I didn't cheat. Sakura wouldn't betray me. So, okay, that's some power. It actually does hold power. It just doesn't hold near as much as I would want. So, how is the braking performance? Because I do fear the brakes on this, honestly. Or 47.3. I'm not sure that's as bad as it's been. Did he cheat? I'm sure I didn't. So if I make that, if I make those wheels smaller, that doesn't, actually smaller wheels don't hurt the braking as much as I expected. And, okay, smaller wheels do actually seem to benefit the car more than anything. So, can make the front tyres larger now. Sure, why not? Yeah, I didn't tell Sakura not to give a clear answer on whether I cheated or not. Ah, okay, that didn't make the... Oh wait, that's probably why. Made the tyres a little smaller. This vehicle does not make sense. Like, I'm just so curious who would decide building a car this way was ever a good idea. Because I wouldn't. I guess the wheel would. It's always the wheel's fault. It's never my fault. So, how is the suspension going to work? Somehow I imagine this thing is going to be a lot more stable at high speeds than it is at lower speeds. So the rear spring rate can firm up a little. The front dampers are hard, as it says. The rear dampers aren't hard. I mean, it's like, if it says I can stiffen up the car and gain sportiness because of it, then I'm not against that. .2. Okay. 30.7. I think if I make this, yeah, that should work. The front dampers are apparently hard, so try and soften them up a little. .5. That will do. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what to make of this now. Like, tuning-wise, there's a million different ways this could go. But, yeah, there's a million different ways I could tune this car, I feel. But would any of them be right? Because the suspension is just so badly messed up. The wheel has built good cars before, and this is not one of them. Yes, more camber. Okay, I'll take that. There's a lot of camber, though. It's saying the front and rear brake force are high, not that they're actually low or anything. So, how much brake force have we got? It's actually got better for braking when I made the wheels and brakes smaller, but wider. That's interesting. 30.6. There, so... I think I want the most drivability for the rear brakes. And not the most sportiness, per se. But they actually align quite well. So, this thing is not going to slow. I can say that much now. It's probably going to end up in a hedge or something. I feel like it's going to stay anywhere but on the track where I point it. Just thinking, that piece is sticking up. What should I do? Stick a Maxwell there. I don't imagine that visually working now. Okay, so... tail lights. I kind of want to make it look angry at the back. But I guess if we're going for a retro look... I kind of want it to look retro, but I also want to make it look angry. They're like eye-shaped tail lights. Will this look at all decent? It just looks... with those tail lights, it just looks disappointed. Like, why have you done this? I thought I told you you're not supposed to make a car like this. It just looks disappointed. Could give it a crazy wing. Needs a wing, but... whatever made it look kind of like a rocket ship at the front, at least. Yeah, I've only can make it... wait, I can make it silver! I can make this into, like, just a crazy rocket ship that's silver and everything. I was thinking that, like, I can make it silver because one of the colours it chose was actually a silver colour. So I'm allowed to do that. I mean, I could call it, like, the uncontrollable rocket ship. But I don't know, I kind of like the flying pickle. Yeah, cat eye eyeliner. I mean, I could make it black as well. Like, there's no rules saying I can't make that edge of a tail lights black. Where is it? Here it is. Let's go with a glossy plastic. I can do that. Give it like a line across so it's got a unibrow as well. Okay. I think it's under bumpers where the trim like pieces are. I kind of want to give it like full eyes on the back just because why not? I don't know what to make of that. Just looks strange. Now, I don't think it lets you change the shape of a body to be like more rocket-like, but I would like that. Are you friends with a wheel? The Hollywood conspiracies. I can change things like the chassis tunnel, I think, if it lets me. Try and give this some interior space. Because it is time to do the interior. It doesn't always let you change the chassis tunnel. Some of the cars do. A lot of them don't. Yeah. I mean, I could do a whole lot with the lights and stuff. So, firewall position. I think I need to move that forwards because otherwise the engine is just sticking out a lot. Okay, that should do. Front firewall position. I can't really change that. But totally not supercar suspension on the front. That's pickup truck suspension. You do not see that on supercars normally. The worst part is this actually has a genuinely pretty good engine. I think I know how to sort this out. Well, I could just go like remove intake. Actually, I might have an idea then. So if I go... You can remove bits of the engine, so I'm thinking... I think it's like air cleaner or something. If I find the air cleaner, wherever that is, I think I can make it work. Yep. Hi, Slushy. It is a GT40 body. The wheel has been cruel. Leaf springs, and it's got, I think they're like off-road cross-ply tyres, but not the race kind, not the good ones. Yeah, it's very strange. It also has a 2-speed transmission, but it has a good engine. Has like 450 horsepower. But still, it's just been very cruel. And I don't even know how exactly I'm going to put Maxwell in. That's the worst part of all. I need to find like the engine configurator thingy though, because you can like get rid of the air cleaner. That's the only way I think I'm going to make this look decent. I think I'm going to make it silver, just like some uncontrollable bullet or uncontrollable rocket ship. Because it's going to go in a straight line, kind of, just not round corners at all. So, miscellaneous, is that it? There we go. Set up like a whale car. I don't know, do they have double wishbones on the back? Because, I don't know, it's like, some of the things it did, it's also got a carbon fibre body. Like, some of the things it was extremely kind about, and then it's like, no, actually, I'm just going to torture you. And that's what happened. So, airbox? Yeah, that's it, the airbox. So I can remove that, and I can put like a massive scoop on here. That should make it look a little more like it makes sense. Put something like that. Because I have to try and make sense of this. Like, removing the airbox isn't necessarily the least realistic thing you can do. You can put carbs at the side of engines and stuff, so that's the excuse I'm going to run with. I don't know if I like this. So... Oh yeah, sand whale. Is that, I'll have to type that in, Probably don't need to put the, pause menu on. I'm used to that from my winter car. Oh yeah. But somehow I feel like that made, more sense than this. Because, I'll just go through the menus. It's a, it's 1,500 kilos, so it's not actually as far off a GT40 for weight as you might think. But yeah, 2-speed transmission. It's got, a lot of tyre, but awful tyre. So, that's something that happened. It's got magnesium wheels, so I thought, yeah, it looks crazy enough, I'm just going to put muscle car wheels on it. They are magnesium, so... can't put rear seats in. Who would have guessed? It's got a 6-litre 3-valve V8. I should have said that as well. It's got a 6-litre 3-valve V8. And the body panels. Yes. The silver, like, missile type thing. The unstoppable missile. I think if I make this super shiny... It is super shiny. I could remove a flake. But then it just looks like that. It looks like it's made of plasticine or something. It's trendy because it has very little metallic in it. Ah, yes, sand racing. As I say, I've got one of those up, and it just it doesn't look like this would even work at that, because it just makes so little sense. So I don't know. It's like, at least they probably have radials, kind of thing. This doesn't have rally tyres, and they are not even radials, so quite a bit is playing against it. Actually, honestly, I kind of like this more when it was green. Like, that's a more wild colour. I did also call it the flying pickle, so that wouldn't actually be accurate. Oh, all that flake. Doesn't actually look bad with a lot of flake in this colour. Maybe go 0.89. I think I used 0.89 before. I don't know, like I can make it ultra shiny. I'll probably go 0.95. It'd be shiny. Yeah, the suspension on this, like leaf springs front double wishbone wear. The wheel actually does this to me a lot because I don't like it. So that's why it feels like the wheel does that to me, just because I don't like having leaf springs on the front. And it's mid-engine, so it's like it can't have leaf springs on the back because it's mid-engined. So yeah, it's a strange vehicle. I get, like, it's probably good off-road, but I don't test these off-road normally. I test these, like, on the road, so it's terrible for that. And the tyres, I feel. Like, any kind of race vehicle would not touch these tyres. It's like they're designed for a pickup truck. They're that kind of tyres. I did also find that apparently, spare tyres can often be cross-ply. So that's a random fact. Could go with a sunroof on the roof, actually. I mean, it's out of place, but at this point, nothing's going to make this car work. I mean, it could be worse. I hate to say it, but, like, at least the road boat, in theory, that makes more sense than this, but that car was just slow, and it couldn't put the power down at all. Even though that was, like, from a logic standpoint, that made a lot more sense than this thing does. I mean, I want to incorporate Maxwell, though. Yeah. It does kind of look like a GTA thing. I could see it. Wait, is bits of the engine sticking through that? I think they are. I fixed it now. Yeah, I've done what I can to try and make this make sense, but it's always going to be like that with these wheel car builds. Some things are just not going to make any sense. But hey, I mean, if I can make this look halfway decent... Yep. I mean, we are going to add Maxwell. That's actually what I'm doing now. Because we haven't got the engine in the front. So you know what it means when we don't have the engine in the front? We have a very conveniently sized space here. Since there is no engine here to take up space. I say that. I think the leaf springs give me less space for Maxwell, but still. Actually, if we move that forwards... If we move that forwards, there's a bit more space for Maxwell at the front, perhaps. But I don't know. I think if I can play around with the finer tuning settings, maybe I can do something there. So body, chassis tunnel, we don't want that particularly messing. Well, I can't mess with that. It won't let me do anything. All fixture modification. I have an idea. I don't know if it'll work. Probably not, actually. I think I've done it before. Like, I was thinking if I could put a seat there and it would move the chassis around it. There is one thing I can actually do that I've forgotten. Now, it makes it a little more tricky to... I can also hide the chassis. But it makes it a little more tricky to do the interior and stuff. But it is on a ladder frame, to be fair, so... It's not actually the most far off to have the basic chassis. Then we can add the body, maybe? Yeah. That'll give us more space for Maxwell's, so... there is method to the madness. There's a cat bed somewhere. what I call the cat bed. Technically it's a seat, a bench seat, but it works well for it. Could go with this one maybe. Yeah, so actually I feel like I can see something happening here with the overall shape and size of it. If I just stretch that back. That's on a, yeah, it's on 3D mode. There we go. It's not the best job I've ever done of an interior, but it's going to have space at least for everyone's favourite, Maxwell. Well, my favourite. We all worship Maxwell. It is the rules. I feel like I should put that in like some chat rules just because we must worship Maxwell or something. So this will be our cat bed. Could probably actually make that a little smaller. Does the body fit on top of that? Kind of. I mean, I don't know. I might have to redo this a little. Just to make sure the whole thing is, like, covered. So... I mean, I can't so much do this as I want to, but... Gonna go... Put that down there. Lower that, maybe. Can hopefully mirror the thing. There we go. It's beautifully imperfect. Or something like that. So I can change the width a little. There we go. If I could pivot that. I want these to be aligned. That's not going to block the dashboard too much because I'm going to have a dash covering that, so that's something. I mean, it is a cat bed of sorts, so I do need to change a colour. Actually, I do have two colours, so I can use that here on the Maxwell bed. Can maybe fit a hidden Maxwell down here. Or we could have another window. I don't know, it depends how I can get it working. One car without the shell. Oh yeah, I feel like this will scare people without the shell. Like, why would you build a car this way? It just makes no sense. It can't handle the 450 horsepower. But then, I don't know, maybe the Maxwells will make it less scary and balance it out. There we go. So I can add another cloth thing for this. I can add cloth or leather, I think. Either will work depending on it. Wrinkle paint. No, we want him to have a nice soft bed. There is actually like camo cloth. I don't think you can change the stuff particularly there though. Soft top. I wonder if soft top would work because sometimes the RGB colours will work differently. I'll Control C that, and then I'll go on the cloth colour. Then we'll go Control V this value, hopefully. There it is. There's a hex code. Fabric scale. I can probably change that, like make the woofness higher, but I don't want Maxwell to have a woof bed. Okay, if I scale up the fabric, it doesn't look as harsh a whitish colour. There we go. And that's not even cloth. That's why it looks a little more scratchier fabric, which will not do for our that will not do for Maxwell experience at all. We want soft cloth. There we go. I can actually try and rename this, so I'll just call it Maxwell cloth. Just so I don't confuse it with other stuff. So, grab that seat. There we go. Then we can have... That's actually going to contrast quite nicely and make Maxwell stand out. Excellent. Then we can hide some Maxwells on here, probably, if they'll fit. But then they need little windows. Actually, I've had an idea. So we've got this large window here. So if we make that smaller... Because like the Ferrari 250 GTO, like the Ferrari 250 GTO has the little intake scoops on the front, we can have little Maxwell windows on the front. So, Maxwell windows, yes. There we go, perfect. That's got as many windows as the Windows logo. So, interior or 3D. Maybe you could fit some Maxwells next to the engine as well. Can actually change the glass so it's more transparent. And we can see if we have any Maxwells behind that. The main body glass, I mean. So, I think it's under 3D somewhere. Maxwell. Ah. Maxwell. Stay still, Maxwell. I need to put you in your bed. Why does that sound like I'm doing something cruel to Maxwell again? This will have to do. Maxwell. I feel like we need some fresh air vents on the edge for Maxwell. Gonna have to use a slightly smaller Maxwell as well because there is not a lot of space in the front of this car. I mean, it wasn't even made to have an engine in the front, so... I guess that will have to do. Now, Maxwell isn't too big in this form. This Maxwell is fine. The one I had before was a little on the larger side and wouldn't fit in the tiny compartment. But we will have a fresh air vent somewhere. Can have a little Maxwell, a littler Maxwell. I could do what I did with the original Maxwell mobile, actually, and that's just have 2 smaller Maxwells with a larger Maxwell. That would complement him quite nice, I think. We can also cover up that bit of chassis and stuff. And I meant to grab Maxwell, but it moved a window. There we go. The little Maxwells have a lot of space, I think. There we go. Spinning the Maxwells around. This one doesn't feel like looking out the window. There we go. Somehow I feel like when Ford designed this body in the 1960s, they weren't expecting someone in the 2020s to go putting loads of Maxwells in. But here we are. I think they fit in fairly nicely. I feel like the bed needs doing on the sides though, because it doesn't quite work as I would like it to. Okay, let's see you sometime, Elena. There will be a lot more Maxwells though, don't worry. The Maxwells will continue. Because the Maxwells is the most fun part. Can go, Actually, I have 3 little Maxwells. Yes. Tiny Maxwells. Car-sized Maxwells. Oh dear. I've sized that wrong. Needs to go like in this a certain direction so that the Maxwells actually fit. I mean, that should do. I think I might have grabbed that wrong. Then we can move this Maxwell. Oh dear, that one's like slightly sticking through the bodywork. There we are. Can probably just slide back a little. That will fix it. I feel like that Maxwell is a bit too much to the side. There we go. And maybe that one is as well. I think that looks okay. Could probably add another Maxwell in this large bed, but I don't want it to look too crowded. Can go with a more transparent sunroof as well. And I couldn't forget, Maxwell needs some fresh air vents. What if I could actually incorporate that with the headlights? That would be interesting. Maybe these could work. They weren't my first thought, but... They kind of work. I'd say they weren't my first thought for headlights, but they do kind of fit on here. They look stretched out as well, but they kind of work, as I say, with this body. I kind of like them ones. I mean, they look a little more modern for this car, but still. You don't think it actually makes fun downforce looking at it, but it decided we're only downforce and gave me a good under tray, so I can run that. I mean, I feel like doing a little more on the edge of this bed, but it's not strictly necessary. I'd rather have the basics, actually, like the interior done. We do have a nice space for the badge, though. So, there's a V. Can pivot that. Make that smaller. I can't really see how this is. Okay, I think that works. There it is. Our wheel badge. I mean, it works okay. There's just the general grille you can get on these 60s cars, and it's just like a little loop. I could put a bumper here, but I kind of like the idea that it looks like it's going to take flight, on the front at least, even if it does have downforce. So, yeah, that's the kind of one. If these actually load in, I think it's doing that thing. No, it isn't. Soft, I don't know. I don't know what difference this makes. Like, this is what the Jaguar E-Type had, something like this, but I think it just generally works on these classic type of vehicles. So if I could do something like that, the air goes nowhere, but that's okay. And I can, I think I can do something with the grille pieces. So if I go and get, I can use a silvery colour as well. So if I find, there's like these inner grille parts. What's this? Is this like... I mean, it kind of works. If I make that smaller... Maybe if I go and make this layer 2... No, that doesn't really work. There was like these inner grille pieces. I'm thinking if I could use them properly, like there... Like, if I could squish one down and repeat it. There is, ways I think this would be possible. Yeah, so we get this, I don't know why that doesn't show up, though. Is it because that's not fully transparent? I know, actually, I don't know. It's because they have to be on the same layer. It's a little odd, but... So, like, if I squish that down... I don't think that's going to work. I mean, I might just, at this point... Just add, like, glossy plastic. It's not perfect, but it's easier than trying to get some complicated thing working. Has a bit of an odd expression. But that's a story. Could give it a little face on the back. I don't know. It only has one exhaust, but I can like put a fake exhaust in if I so need to. We have those if they show up. So if I can mirror that, only one of these exhausts is actually going to do anything, but I think I can make it work well enough. Keep snapping to the centre though, there's only so much I can do. It does look like it's going to take flight. So we have this space next to the engine. I do know what I can do with this, I think. Maxwell beds. But I will have to see because there's not a whole lot of ways of actually putting seats in there. Got interior 3D. Where there's going to be, I think, floor panels somewhere. There we go, floors. Like, this is the easiest way I can think to sort this out. Maybe if I flip that the other way. That will actually offer some interior space for it. How does the body sit on top of that? Okay, if I make that either a little lower or a little shorter, it should work okay. That should work. Yeah, I call that a win enough. Enough of a win, at least. I mean, I feel like I could just remove the chassis entirely, honestly. With how things are going, it seems like it's just going to get in the way of making this whole car a complete design. So, I think it's visibility, yeah. Let's just disable the chassis entirely because, well, that didn't do it. Hide chassis, there we go. Because I just feel like this. I know it's technically got a ladder frame, but you're still going to need some interior space somewhere. Somewhere around that should do the job. So, how does that line up? Could probably just shorten the length of this floor pan thingy a little. I mean, you won't see the engine, so if the engine is like mounted to nothing, you won't really see that. Unless you're like moving the car upside down. I can cover it up well enough, I feel. You know, just with a piece of material. Make it look like it's part of the under tray or something. So we'll go 3D. Something just like this, I mean. It'll offer a it'll offer a place for the engine to sit, and that will I mean, if I can do this correctly, it will just look like under tray, as I say, and it shouldn't be something people will particularly question. If you go and pull the car apart, then it will quickly be revealed it just makes no sense and it's a piece of 3D material that doesn't need to be there or doesn't have a reason to be there. But as I say, at least on the initial glance, people will see this and they'll just go, oh, that's under tray. So something like that. If I make this, can make it chrome. Actually, just make it primary car. No, because it is primary car. I need to make this so it blends into the background. Let's change it to steel. Like, that should work well enough. I mean, as I say, I think it's like the suspension mounts to nothing. I don't think that's the biggest issue. It's only if you look too closely, things will start to reveal they're not attached to any kind of chassis. There is not a lot of height to this body at all. I guess it's because it's a GT40, they are very low, but still. I mean, at least it makes sense it being a high-performance car. So, I'm not just going to put a Maxwell bench there. I feel like I always go back to these seats too much, but they just generally work. So that is on 3D. I mean, if I can somehow fit these in without changing the size, that would be perfect, but I'm not so sure that's a possibility. So I'll lean it back slightly. Has to move forward because of the engine. Even fully move back, though, it's not a lot of space. So this seat almost fits. I say that as it's like going through the floor. I wonder if there's like another seat though like this, but will actually fit in the car. Because to take any kind of cheat method I can get. So, seats. We're on the correct menu for it. There is a racing seat. I mean, this may do the job. I honestly don't know. Because I don't want to try changing the size of it. I just want to use the seat as it comes and... I mean, a racing seat makes sense with this body design, unfortunately. It doesn't make sense with a few of the other things about it. Okay, the racing seat actually does fit somewhat. That's good. Because I feel like the fictional human character, though, that, you know, you might have actually sitting in here, there'll only be so much space. And you don't, like, put them on a tiny seat that doesn't make any canonical sense. So if I can just move that down a little. Change your angle so it matches the chassis. I feel like this is as good as I'm going to get for how it lines up. Like, it's not the largest seat, but it fits in the car. Then we can mirror that. I can change the colour of that, actually. There's, like, these purple parts. I can change them to that, like, silvery colour. So it matches the colour scheme I've been given. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, the silvery colour comes out more white on the cat bed, but I think it can work. As I say, the engine is, like, right there. So the engine is not in a good position to work with. Yet, it has given me a 6-litre V8, and there's only so much I can do with a 6-litre V8 while still fitting it in the car. I mean, at least it didn't give me a V12 or something, because then there's a good chance I wouldn't even be using this body. I've had an idea, actually. You can get plushies in this game, so as long as I can cover up the majority of the engine... What I could do, I could actually have Maxwell bed material. Maybe? So I think if we go... Maybe if I grab that, like, I've got that seat there. If this works... I'd be kind of amazed, but if this works... I can try flipping it around on one of the axes. And I choose the two wrong ones before I choose the correct one. this one, a fuel injection is showing through. I don't know how I'm going to make sense of this, though. That's the issue. Because the seats are right up against the engine, which I've kind of had to do. I guess if I make that narrower... Well, technically there's two of them. So if I make that centered... and then adjust it from there, I think I can get that working just about. Because that way we're not just looking at, like, the worst elements of it not fitting. Can move that back to a point, at least to the worst point being covered. Okay. Some kind of progress is being made. How wide can I get away with? Only to a point. Like, I think I'm already pushing that about as wide as I can. And I will be able to cover that belt. Like, there's stuff I've got to do to try and make this thing work at all. I feel like I might make the door cards that kind of a cloth colour as well. It would tie it together fairly nicely. Because we've got the greys lower down. And then if we have, like, the whole dashboard area line, like that. Now, so if we have... actually, we can move this out, I think. Because the seats have got some angle to them. So if we make this shorter... probably turn it around again. So that's the way I'm thinking. We can pivot that. Just desperately trying to hide an engine that does not want to hide. Will that fit? Yes. I mean, as I say, fitting this over the engine and still somehow behind the seats. Bit of a pain. But when I'm done, I think it'll work out. Come on, there we go. Job done. Like, it's right up against the engine, as you can see. But I've somehow managed to cover it up just enough that the engine doesn't look like it's intruding on the cabin. It is intruding on the cabin, but that's, it's not the end of it all. Like, you can't really tell. The part of that doesn't look like it's silver. I have to actually check this. It's like there's a piece of black where the silver is. No, it's just decided not to cover that. Okay. I thought it was the engine going crazy with it, and it's like glitching out, which I don't think is it. So, I feel like the springs also need to appear to mount to something in the same way I've done here. So... like, this is all just keeping up appearances, though. That's why I don't like moving the chassis completely, because this stuff needs explaining. And I'm not so good at explaining stuff that cannot be explained. So, body. Yeah, I think that works out. So we'll mirror this. It's like the closer you look, the worse it'll get, but as long as no one looks too closely. I mean, it should play out quite nicely. The leaf springs on the front are interesting, because I don't know if they will be easier. They'll probably be a little easier to mask than this into, you know, actually looking like it makes some kind of sense. We can minimise the size. A little there. Maybe if I do that, like, just make it look like some kind of steel tub. I mean, the chassis is actually steel, an unprotected steel at that. Granted, it's no space frame or anything of that kind. It's just a steel ladder. There we go. So, that doesn't look as bad as it could if we just throw the body back on. I mean, as I say, it's one of those things. The closer you look, the worse it gets. Can probably finish off the tub a little, though. So if we drag this back and resize it, I think it'll start looking pretty good. Like, just to reiterate, this is not going to make sense once you start taking it apart. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I haven't grabbed that metal thing. There we go. Okay, there is a tub there, like, improvised. I've spent too long on it. As did I perhaps spend too long separating it from the interior. I do see a Maxwell hiding spot, which I will intend to use because why not? We have a chance to sneak a Maxwell in. I started off like doing actually a decent job of covering the engine and stuff, and now I'm just looking for spaces to hide a Maxwell. So, got the seat. Oh, you can actually get a corner. That's useful. That's exactly the kind of piece I needed to finish the job off. There we go. Something like that, I think. That's what I need. Yeah. Making Minecraft villager noise. I think I might have finished this playlist. So, apparently I've got 0 drop frames. Well, that's something. I'll just find this. Oh, there's like one whole playlist of it. Yay. My comedic evil playlist. That is like sticking through the seat. That's not what I want. Maxwell must be cozy here. So this is going to be mirrored. In some sense of the word. If it fits even. Which it does. So, mirror that. Maxwell cloth, as I have called it. There we go. Yeah, body hides that quite well. You know, I'm like having to put all these crazy pieces all around the place to try and make this actually hide the engine, and I still somehow have space to sneak a Maxwell in here. Like, this is not the most ideal option to sort this, but it works. There we go. Can probably move it down a little. There we go, so it just clears a seat. Well, I say that, the other one isn't really clearing the seat. There we go. Yeah, that's all, like, secure in there. We have a little Maxwell bed. I think I'll get one of the little Maxwells, perhaps. Can try and grab one of them. There we go. Little cheesy way of getting myself a Maxwell, but it is now here. So if we pivot this Maxwell a little... Oh dear. I did not mean to grab that. Oh, it's like going back on the fixture menu. I just want a Maxwell, okay? I mean, I could. I'm just thinking, I've got these beams back here. If I move them a little smaller, then I can move them back, and they're not really in the way anymore. I could possibly do the same with those ones just below them. Again, just make them slightly smaller. And they will fit better. Because I didn't think this through. I didn't think I'm going to fit a Maxwell in that exact spot. So, I didn't think it would be an issue. But it was an issue. There we go. There will be two Maxwells here. I'm going to mirror them. Because it's easier. At least if I've got many Maxwells to keep safe, I might be able to make this car slightly less crashy into a wall. Did I? Yeah, I did select mirror. The Maxwell pit, I don't know. There's an exhaust going through that bed. I didn't think of that. It's okay. It's not touching Maxwell. There we go. Okay. I could have done worse. The seat isn't even like intruding on the wheel well that much, which is enough of a success. I mean, as I say, I needed to move the seats back, but the engine is so large, there just isn't much space at all for the seats. At this point, I'm kind of amazed. I had to use some cheesy methods to even get this tiny body working with this whole craziness going on. So the brakes are suffering from brake fade. I think I'm going to have to deal with the brake force being high in the brake fade, because there's not much I can do about it. The short gearing, it's got a 2-speed. What am I supposed to do? I think I might just cap the speed off to like 150, which is actually the opposite of, I would just say, fixing that. Because it's going to work somewhat. So, interior parts. These are some stuff I don't think I've used before. Door card 6. There's mirrors, there's seats. This stuff is just like 3D model looking, but I don't know what you can do with it. The door cards look interesting. The door cards look pretty decent. Like I could probably use these at the very least. I guess I say they look like 3D models. Ah yes, just because there's not colour on them like there is on others. I don't think I'll fit a huge number of Maxwells in here, as I maybe have used before. But I have managed to sneak some in. I've put some in the front because that's not used for engine or anything. I've also got that, which should not be obstructing Maxwell's view of the road. Well, he doesn't have much of a view of the road. He does have a sun window. These door cards do not match the overall design of this car at all. They look far too modern. So, interior pack. I wonder if these are like more vintage stuff. But I wonder if there's anything here that would do an appropriate job for door cards. These ones may work. They're very simplistic, but that's actually exactly what I need at this time. I mean, ultimately, the GT40 is from the 60s, so you can't expect it to look too modern inside, especially since it's probably going to be a pretty pared back race car. So this body was obviously not made for modern door cards. But at the same time, I don't know, it seems like more modern door cards could still somehow work. I could use like the Maxwell material there and make doors with it, but I don't think that's the best decision either. So, there's the pedals. I'll probably just throw some of these in. They've got to be going somewhere. That's a decent starting point, and then we can just drag these forwards. Like, as I say, we do have the space. Barely. It's far from an ideal build, and I don't even think it'll drive that well. But it might still be kind of quick in a very scary and sort of fun way. I mean, you know what? I would have thought this would have fit a lot worse than it does. Like, the pedals are here, and they are fitting in. Clearly very low, but as I say, given that these seats are pushed right up against the engine, and I'm barely able to hide the engine at all, I think I'm doing okay. So they are just, yeah, they're just hanging in the body back there. If I could make that part transparent, might look a little less, noticeable. I'll have to see what can I make transparent. Like, all this stuff back here, it's not really going to add to the pedals. So I can just, like, make that stuff invisible to a point. Just want to make sure I'm not making anything important invisible. And then I should be fine. Because as I say, all these bits back here, they don't need to be visible. I can hide them away, and nobody will ever know. I think I might need those. Again, there's like joints there and stuff. Those screws can go. You can change the colour of pretty much anything here, so it seems. There is just our random block. Probably has a purpose there, but as I say, I'm just removing as much as I can. I don't think that spring is visible. There we go. Like, I've covered up a little of that. There's some little, rods, would you call it? I mean, I don't think they're too visible from the interior. If at all, so I can remove them. And there you go. Like, that's hidden a little better. As I say, the suspension there, it's hanging off nothing, so I'll probably just borrow a piece from the back, I say. Say borrow. Permanently borrow. Well, I'm copying it, but you know what I mean. So we've got that. Just so that if someone looks under this car, it doesn't look completely, detached. It looks like it's actually attached to something. I think that should mirror. Yeah, it does. Then we can go... I mean, it's not the ladder frame it's supposed to have. But that would kind of be harder than what I'm doing now. To make an actual ladder frame that runs the whole way under the car. All I'm doing now is just hiding the suspension attachment points. There we go. Okay. Not perfect, but it'll work for what it is. Probably putting too much effort into it, if I'm honest. So, door handles. I'm going to need door handles. These? Would they work? Probably not. I don't think they work. Don't want something that looks too modern, because that just wouldn't work with the body design. I think these might work. When I say it looked a little large, they don't look large anymore. There is a space for a vent, and as this is still mid-engine like the actual GT40, we can go and add those vents easily. So, gonna need some vents. There we go. They look like lights. They are. Ah, so they're like fog light type things, which I don't think we need. Hope there's indicators in those headlights. Yeah, there is. I gotta make this canonically road legal. For no reason whatsoever. Flip that round. I don't think that works as well as I'd hoped. I need like a semicircular vent kind of thing, and that would do a good job. That seems like the closest there is to a workable vent for my purposes. I think I grabbed something there I wasn't supposed to. At this point, I might just be better off adding like an actual circle. Maybe if I go 3D with this. I think I might actually have it. I think this is going to look pretty good. At least if I do it properly. There we go. That's kind of in Maxwell's bed. Yeah. It's inside the Maxwell. That's not going to work. There may be one of these with like a smaller center I can use. Well, there's that one. Okay, this might work. It is mirrored. It's not in the Maxwell bed, at least not completely, so we should be fine with that. It's a little over the top, but anyway. I wanted to add door cards, and I've gone and added 2 massive propellers on the side. I mean, I think the thing should be kind of functional. kind of want to give it a nose. Like I did that with the biblically accurate minion. Mirrors. They should do. They don't look like they throw the car body off too much. Not my highest effort mirrors by any means, but still. I feel like if I go 3D, I can, like, rotate them. There we go. It doesn't look like it's got any distinct lines on the door, which is strange. But then that's how it is. I don't know what decade this looks like it's from anymore. Like, the body is a 60s. It's got modern race seats. And propellers there, which are like, I don't know, 1950s space age stuff. So hard to position it. I think if I find a dashboard... Oh, I found... yeah, I found some door cards. Interior 1980s. Sure. Let's have a 1980s dashboard. I think it's like whatever side drive this is, it's going to be here. Don't know if this is a, what's it, a Honda dashboard or something? I get the Honda vibe from it. So it's going to be a 60s Ford with an 80s Honda dashboard. A lot of Maxwell's, of course, and... it's going to be a very strange vehicle. Honda made Formula 1 cars, therefore Honda dashboard is race dashboard. That's my mind's logic right now. Okay, I've almost got that in place. There we are. Okay. I think that's something. The dash doesn't actually quite line up with the seat. If I make that a little narrower. Okay, a little smaller and I think I'll have it. Like, it's not going to line up 100%, but I think that's permittable. There we go. So, gonna need some door cards. I feel like I might keep the 80s theme going here. 80s, 90s. If I can find anything like that. So, we've got 90s Sport. Is that 80s Sport? There's 80s Sedan. I think we'll go with 90s Sport on these door cards. I mean, I am mismatching things. I think there was, I don't know. It sometimes glitches out and I have to like click off the design menu and back on it. The transmission, this does need some work though. So, 161. I think if I can cap this off at about 155, I shouldn't lose too much speed. Like, obviously it's not going to have the same level of high-end performance. But yeah, 4.7, as you can see. Does 4.3 to 60, like if I use first gear for just acceleration. Okay, 4.3. If I can get that acceleration out of it, that is quick. I just fear it's not going to be able to slow. And naturally, 2 gears. So 1, It drops quite nicely to about 160 horsepower. It should still have some performance, like a 1500 kilo-ish vehicle. But there is limits. So like maybe it'll handle more like it's got about 230 horse than it's got 400 and something, 450, because that transmission, it really does sap the speed. I've had 2 speeds before in these builds. It just takes all the speed you could have and throws it away. And if nothing else, that's going to slow it down. If all of the other things stacked up against it don't turn this into a slow vehicle, that probably will. So we need some... No, we don't need 3D. We need door cards. Could put a radio in. But a radio is extra work. I just want this to look good for now. Where was the 90s door cards? 90s sports. Because that's probably the best fitting, most fitting thing I've got. Those door cards are not as big as I expected. Like, I might have to widen them out a little. But I think they can work. They can be made to work. Ah, so this is what I have to do, I think. So make them slightly smaller. Unless you can get these like on 2D and they line up. No, they don't. It's that piece down there that sticks through the door. But I do feel at the same time like having it more inset to the body will overall work. I mean, I can make them smaller that way. So there's enough space for the seats, and then just drag them in a little. So if we can flip that around. I mean, I don't like changing the colour too much, but what I might do, these floor trays, I can change that to match the, yeah, Maxwell cloth. And that will contrast nicely with the kind of black and bring it all together. And it also doesn't change the lower colour. So I think that's like the best easy way I've got of fixing that. Where is the doors? There they are. I mean, as I say, you could do so much more of this game, but at the same time, it's like, I have stream time to build a car. Of course, I'm going to try and use it as wisely as I can. There is actually, yeah, I did say that was a little wide. Now, the door cards being positioned as they are, I can actually line that up with that front seat quite nicely. Maybe make this a little shorter. There we go. Like that should be okay. Okay, I'll take that. I could probably rotate it and do all this stuff. I just want the interior to work. The issue is, it's like, this body seems a lot harder to actually make an interior for than the other ones I've tried to use before. I mean, I can just use green, but I don't know why it's complaining about bitrate. Not showing any frame drops. There we are. Okay. Maybe if I mean, this is almost close enough for me. There we go. I think it lines up well enough. I just need to do it to the point where no one really asks questions. And I'm going too far. Okay, that lines up decently with the draw card. And then we're going to need to add a front piece. This is going to go... just cover up this Maxwell bed remains on the edge of the dashboard. There we go. Okay. That is an interior. I've spent far too long trying to get these things to look okay. And we don't even have a Maxwell in the passenger seat yet. We have other Maxwells. Not in the passenger seat though. And the back end just looks unfinished. Oh, now my head is doing things. It's like, could we fit a Maxwell in the back? You know, we could fit a Maxwell in the back, but it would take extra work. Yet now I feel like I have to do it. Wait, that looks like a weird emoji face, actually. If we could undo this, maybe I'll flip it the other way up. Yes. Yes, this is good. It also gives ventilation. I think even if I make it like plastic, it'll give me ventilation. Maybe if I get a different grill. I think I do know how to add a tongue to the mouth. Like, maybe I shouldn't, but I do know. We get one of these. We pivot it a little. Then we go in 3D mode. Which, well, probably make it larger and then go in 3D mode. It'll be a little more convenient. I could actually change it to be like actual red or something. So 3D. know, maybe this is what happens when I get tired. I just end up doing weird things to cars. There's Toon Shader. Toon Shader actually kind of looks good. So if I go, I don't know what I'm doing with this. I can actually have a badge as a nose as well. Like, this is so weirdly cursed. So, yes. Like, if I can get this working, it'll be so good, but so cursed all at the same time. So we can try and move that forward. Yes, no. Okay. So I know what I have to do here. This isn't going to stay the same colour, but... Oh, I tried rotating it. Like, that should fit, kind of there. So what we're going to do now... We do actually have a bunch of... That is like cloth. Yeah, it's like it's seen something disgusting. Oh dear, where is that? Where is that badge? I put it on a 2D, but... Okay, I know the badge is there, but how did it get way up there? Is this body just weird like that? It seems to have been decent so far, though. I don't know, no idea what was going on with that, but now it appears to actually be going where it's supposed to. Now, the thing is, that will actually act as a grill, though, and it will actually give it ventilation. That's the funny thing. I think the front one might as well. Probably want to do something with that ring. Like, it's fine as it is, it just needs to... It's doing that again. Like, before it did that with the, 0 part of a badge, but... It did it with a 0 part, but then it's, like, got fine the second time. And it seems to be doing that again. Like, it decided the first time round it's going to move that badge all over the place. Okay. It doesn't want to go over the back of a car now. That is very strange. So is that on the... Yeah, that's on the right, as I think it's supposed to be. It's just very weird, I think, the body shape. It doesn't like moving stuff over it. Had to move it around the edge of the car to get it back here. I mean, it is tipped weirdly. I wasn't even sure I was going to keep these taillights, but looks like I am now. This looks so gloriously cursed, though. The teeth are made of fabric. My monitor wants to turn off, as is usually the case. Usually the case when I put too many Maxwells in a car. Actually, the dash is flat. We could fit 3 Maxwells there, but we're going to need a bed as well. That plastic does not look like it'll be comfortable for our Maxwells. So, we've got to get the seating. Oh, I'll put that there. There's a lot of stuff going on. I do want to add a steering wheel. The Maxwell Princess carriage was strange because I did want to add a steering wheel to that. And then I forgot on the stream. And then later on I tried and it just wouldn't put one in there. No idea what was going on with that. So if we either flip horizontally or vertically. Okay, I think maybe. There we go. Like, this isn't going to be the perfect Maxwell bed, but it's better than nothing. I could actually have this kind of like a dash pad going all the way across, so if I mirror that. I can probably make it a little smaller. I made it smaller in the other direction, so it makes sense. You know what? I don't hate this look, though. I mean, I could go over the edge. I don't really want to do that, though. Like, I want it to be kind of in the gaps here. I mean, it does show on the speedometer. Maybe if I pivot it. Like, I don't want it to show through there too much, at least. Like, that's the best I can balance it, unless I'm just being completely stupid and I'm putting it behind there. You know what I am? Just, if I don't bother with the whole mirror thing, and I just make that a little wider, I won't even risk it going on the side of a speedometer. Because it won't even pass that part of the car. Yeah, so just move it until it's hidden. No. Ah, I keep grabbing the wrong arrow. That should work. We can go and match that to the other beds in the car. Because that is the second car colour the wheel chose. And I think, using it pretty good. Actually, that chrome can change, though. Because as I say, that's the second colour. I can add the silver stuff to that. So it's maybe not absolutely chromed, but it's actually a bit more subtle. I think that works as well. Can probably also use the chrome on... I'd say the sunroof, not chrome, use the silver on the sunroof and the window trim. And even the mirrors. So, it should be here. Window trim, there we go. I think that looks decent. Can also use it on the wheels. Given what these wheels are. Not the white wall part of the wheels, but... one of these I had as the white wall colour. It wasn't the Maxwell cloth, it was either that or that. I think it was that. Okay. So that works. We've managed to repeat that silver a little. I think if it's like chrome, we can replace that just to, I would say law-friendly, the wheel-friendly silvery colour. Look, wheel, I am doing what you said. I don't think there's a whole lot I can do for tuning, though. I think I've already done about everything I can. Probably going to have 2 or 3 little Maxwells on the dash where I've added a Maxwell bed. Need a steering wheel, and then we should be done. There's a back end. It just looks so strange. So, we don't need an exhaust. We need a steering wheel. You do not use a... You don't usually use an exhaust to steer with, although I do feel like someone has done that before. Race kit steering. I think this one looks pretty nice. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, though. But it does actually line up with what this car is quite well. Granted, I think it might actually have paddle shift. I think it's a dual clutch. It's just got 2 gears, so... So we remove the body for the time. I would say this wheel is too small, but I don't think it is. Because I think you want something that's smaller and easier to grab when you're in such a tight space. Like a massive wheel might be good. Like my car has a massive wheel, but there's a time and a place for it. In this car, as much as it might seem weird to me, it does make sense to have a slightly smaller wheel. Gives you a bit more space to move your arms and stuff particularly. Like, this is not a massive body. I mean, it's barely what I would call mid-size, at least in wheelbase. It does somewhat make up for that in width. So, yeah, as I say, the only idea really here is to just put a passable kind of idea of an interior in. It's not supposed to be a complicated process, but I'm making it into one. And I've spent like 3 hours. 3 hours making this thing. Well, not all on the design, but... Actually, I would say a gear shifter, but it has got paddle shift, so I probably don't need to. It's only got 2 gears anyway. You're probably better off just leaving it in auto mode. So, 3D. I'm gonna want just a little, what do you call it, a tube? There we go, basic cylinder, that's it. I'll probably just make this one of the plasticky colours that's available, because it would kind of match up. It is on 3D mode. I mean, the amount of movement opportunities I've got, they should make it clear it's in 3D mode. I think if I make that a little smaller, it will be just what I need. At least smaller in that kind of diameter, would I say? Okay, trying to focus too hard. I can't say anything even. I don't think that quite lines up. That's the issue. That angle helps a little. Hopefully. Hopefully I'm not just having this angle like completely misaligning it. Maybe it would be funnier if it's misaligned. I don't know. But I've spent a long time on this interior. I want to do it correctly. At least correctly enough. So we've got matte plastic, I think glossy plastic. That looks like it's fitting enough. And we've got the paddle shift, so we don't need a manual gear shifter. It is dual clutch, so I think that means, yeah. Maybe it means you get a paddle shifter and a manual. I don't know. I thought it was like auto and a manual in one. So the manual control will be operated by the paddle shifters. I've not got fog lights. I don't think I need them. Like, visually, this thing works well enough. I can go with some little indicators on the side. Something I too often forget. I'm not going to spend loads of time. I'm just going to put some little dots there. I mean, I would say these are, like, LED look, and they're not going to fit. But then the headlights are not exactly 60s headlights. I can make it work somewhat. Like, at least better than it perhaps otherwise would have. So, that's what we've got so far. The many Maxwells. I think we can fit that size of Maxwells, and I've got the first one on one of the seats. That looks like the right size for a seat Maxwell. Again, just making my job of this a little easier by copying and pasting. There we go, and we'll have some tiny Maxwells on the... I think I have... Yeah, I've got 3 little tiny Maxwells at the front, so I'm going to copy them. I did do like a Maxwell bobblehead design type thing before, but I've got them on the dash. I probably won't need that. There is like a plushie thing as well you can get. I might put 2 on the front and then a plushie, or I don't know. I'll fit that somewhere, because I do like putting that in. So then I think if we go scroll through, that will do. That's one of the smallest Maxwells. You can do all kinds of stuff on here. I don't have the commands though to enter into the little box to get automation to do that stuff. And it would take more time than I've already spent on this. I can actually probably fit a few of these in. Maybe more than I was originally anticipating. Maxwell may not feel the safest here going at high speed. It is not a safe car the wheel has built. It looks ridiculous, but maybe the Maxwells save it because it looks so ridiculous anyway. Having a load of cats on the interior isn't going to do the most ridiculous thing ever. They can all look out for outside of the windscreen. Can probably move that one forward a little. A little queue of Maxwells. And as I said, there is like a little plushy thing in the 3D somewhere. We can fit one of there. We might have to downsize it, but we can fit one somewhere here. I think it's down at the bottom where the Maxwell was, or near where the Maxwell was. Yeah, leaf springs. Don't remind me, okay? Of what I've had to go through all the work of tuning. I think that might be a rotary engine. I don't know. It's a bike. I think that's high poly, though. You know, I do need to save the thing. But I have found the plushie. It's not showing. I mean, as I say, it is showing. Okay. I think I might need to, again, go off the design editor and then go on. It's not been as bad as it has in the past, to be honest, but still. I think I have done a decent job of this overall. I might put a few vents on the side just to like round off the design. Just because here it's very plain on the back and I feel typically this kind of vehicle would have a vent or 2 back there. So, the 2-speed. I mean, the fact it's supposedly doing 0 to 60 in like 4.3 seconds. That's not slow. And it's got a 2-speed to do that. And then it's on these tyres, which are like the worst. They're cross-ply off-road tyres. They're not good. But even so, it's got rear heavy. I mean, I had to move the engine back, like with the fine-tuning settings. Where is it? I had to move the engine back on the... Where is it? Weight distribution. Just because if I didn't do that, the thing would not fit the seats at all. Like, it barely fits the seats in as it is, to be honest, in a reasonable place. If I didn't do that, it wouldn't have fit them in. And I mean, I could have just used another body, I'll be honest here. But I like this body. And it stops this car weighing like 1,700 kilos. It keeps the thing to a reasonable weight, I feel. And it is fiberglass body, not fiberglass, carbon fiber body panel, so it should not be absurdly heavy. It's not like it's got a luxury interior either or anything. 6.6 miles per gallon, yes! Very economical. I mean, it's safe to say it sacrifices a lot for power. If this doesn't affect sportiness particularly, I can make the front leaves softer, which should make them handle a little more like independent suspension. At least I would guess. The front dampers are hard, understood. You will have softer front dampers. 2.2. Do we want that to be stiffer? I mean, I would say this is going to roll on the front, but they are leaf springs. Leaf springs inherently just don't tend to roll all that much. I mean, as I say, it could be a complete disaster to try and drive this. Like, that's... I don't want the rear to be too stiff either on the anti-roll bars, if I can help it, just because I don't want it to, like, roll all over on the front and then not have the back rolling at all and just basically make a disaster job of it. Because the thing will not roll at all around corners. But you need a certain level of roll on corners. You just don't need undue levels of roll. So there is the camber, which it seems to like. A lot of camber by the looks of it. I'll leave it on 1.5 because I don't trust it going any more than that for camber. Like, there's a lot of camber on the back. So, short gearing. It says short gearing. It's like 155 top speed with 2 gears. I don't think that's that short. The front brake force is very high. The rear brake force is very high. I don't know what to make of that. Like, I've got drum brakes on the front. How is this too high braking performance? How does it actually brake now? 46.7. Like, that is not good. I've had cars that do 15 meters less on these randomised builds, and so... yeah, that takes quite a distance. So, there's the Cerno Fumo, is it? Plushie? This is going to go in the car with our Maxwells. I can't line things up with the front of this car. It's like, because it's so rounded. I mean, I thought I could put it between the seats. I guess there's no manual shifter, so why not? Like, it's not going to get in the way of a manual shifter, as there is no manual shifter. We can pivot that. Yeah, that works. I mean, as I say, I would say it gets in the way of shifting, being that far forwards and everything, but... okay, so that's snapped to the middle. Pretty hard to move it from there. Can lower the plushie. Looks like it's more on the driver's side, but that's okay. I mean, there is bigger issues. Could maybe fit another one of these with the Maxwells. I may have to make the things smaller to fit, but I have deselected it now. I think I might be able to just sneak her in the corner. I think there might be just enough space. Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know how the windscreen exactly curves, so I'll have to have a check of that. Yeah. Yeah, so if I make this tiny, this one will fit in the corner. There's not really much else I can do to fit it here, though. I mean, as I say, we're going to have an absolutely minuscule plush. Just to make it even go in the car at this point. But I think there is space. Especially if I move it forward and across. Like, that should be enough. I say that. Does that clear the windscreen? Very almost. So again. Now maybe if we just move it that way. And pivot. I'd say that is pretty safely on the interior. It's also floating. Can probably move it actually into a more reasonable position now. It's not floating so much. There we go. Actually, pivot it. There we go. Ow. Now it's sticking through the windscreen. Now I've pivoted it. But it looks better at that angle. Okay. Not much space, but I think it's okay. I did see mirrors somewhere, like centre mirrors. I'm getting distracted. I do need to put these vents on. I won't be doing anything fancy here. Just a couple of, like, fairly regular vents. At least this should have enough ventilation to cool the engine. I've not put, as I say, loads and loads of cooling on. Actually, you know what? Like, I feel that's not large. No, I feel that looks stretched out too much. But what if I did this? Well, firstly, make it transparent so it goes through to the engine and wherever. Secondly, just duplicate it. Like, I say that. There is yeah, it's not enough space to that central intake thing, which mostly just hides bits of the engine that stick up. Because I had to raise the engine up because of the leaf springs to practically get the other part to lower itself down. Now, instead of carbon fibre, we will be having this. Mad Tom, as it called it. I think that looks okay. I could make the perimeter of that, like, silver. Yeah, I'll make, like, the edge silver. I could actually make the centre, like, black plastic as well. That would kind of work. Just tie it all in. I think glossy plastic and glossy plastic. So that face on the back is just strange. So, overall, yeah, I don't mind this. I mean, I don't know how this is going to handle. I hope it doesn't tip over. Hopefully it makes good use of the leaf springs. About as good use as it can. Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to have any speed to it. There's still things on the leaderboard that this could potentially be just by being a very low-slung platform. But I'm not so sure I trust it. Now, I will have to use the bathroom and then I will be back. So, for the sake of ease of use, yeah, we have the colas somewhere. Oh, it's not cola, definitely cola. It doesn't show up properly, but anyway. I will put some text here for a moment. Haven't put Maxwell on the back as text, but I don't think I'll need to. I got some new texts as well that I downloaded, which don't appear to be working, or maybe they do. And maybe I just didn't type anything in. There we go. I will be back in a moment. Okay, so now I can remove that. Anyway, I've been thinking there is one thing that I haven't quite checked yet, and that is the powertrain. So, somewhere here. Power split is... Did I make this rear-wheel drive by accident or something? Because this is supposed to be all-wheel drive. I do remember, thankfully, what kind of differential it was supposed to have. Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay, that was a mistake I didn't want to make. I know it was helical. At least I remember that much, so... I don't know. It was quicker as a rear-wheel drive, so that's a thing. At this point, I might as well just lengthen that gear out. I lose barely any speed. So it was quicker as a rear-wheel drive. That's interesting. Now the car understeers. And I don't know when that happened, but at some point, I just realised I was going to change the power split. That's the only time I realised this wasn't actually all-wheel drive. Drivability is going up as I move the power back, so presumably I'll try 40-60. That's a decent balance, and then I will adjust the tyres and such. Because I do have a little extra tyre space on the front if I can use that. It does help sportiness, which currently I'll go with. Now this is going to make things a little awkward because I've done all this and then I'm going to find out it's not correct. I think I'll make the rear tyres as wide as I can just because. 285, 335. Anyway, that's pretty good tyres for width. Although the tyre compound is trash. It's actually got 0.1 of a second quicker after I made the tyres wider, so that's something. Or maybe it was a power split doing that more. I think I'll just keep these tyres as wide as I can get them. The front is restricted by the car, not so much a powertrain. But if the sportiness likes this, I'll move a bit more power to the back. So 35 front, 65 rear. Sounds like a fair enough balance for a more sporty car. It's like one of the few things it actually has going for it. At least this has all-wheel drive and a decent all-wheel drive setup at that. I didn't check for active ring. So if I find the correct reel, this is one thing, like, I seem to have missed a few things. And it's really just stupidity, but... Okay, we are getting an active wing. I'm pretty sure I already checked cooling flaps. Or didn't I? I know, I think it went on spin again and then got sidetracked with the whole aero thing. So... You know, at least I'm getting round to this. I'm doing it far too late. But at least the car almost ended up with the wrong powertrain. That has been fixed. So we're getting active on cooling flaps. It's like, yeah, try and save face now, why don't you, wheel? I think it's a bit late for that. But anyway, we do have that. Trying to remember how to operate OBS. We have that. I mean, you know, it's been, what, 3 hours of building this stuff? At least I fixed it. I put the all-wheel drive it was supposed to have back on it. Because I remember saying it had a helical all-wheel drive and helical differentials, which I found surprising. That's probably the only reason I remembered it. Actually, if I can get a signature. I've had an idea here. Because I feel like we have to put Maxwell on, so... Oh, yes, that is brilliant. We can just put like a little Maxwell signature here. Kind of a little Easter egg. I mean, I know it's going to be canted away from the camera most of the time. Almost looks like a Marshall logo would get on guitar amps and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, finding the height point on this particular car is kind of a difficult thing, because how far down do you put it? It's not like flat bodywork at all. And then we can mirror this. I feel like this is a thing to put Maxwell text somewhere on the car. I've put it like as a little signature down there. Could probably pivot that. You know, like just trying to get this whole thing... Trying to get this whole thing aligned. Yeah, it looks like one is straight and then the other is just wonky. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get for positioning. I think it's because of the angle of the car and the angle of the text and stuff. Anyway, we have fit our Maxwell text on. We have decent ventilation, I think, for the engine. We have our disgusted face on the back. Okay, I think this is one of the better builds visually. Like, I could have done a lot worse with the visuals of it. But as I say, I put the all-wheel drive on and now everything is changed because I kind of accidentally went with rear-wheel drive. So, what have we got here? Summary. It's not saying it's understeering. I can see... Does it want larger brakes? Not larger. Yeah, so it wants more front force. Now, all-wheel drive is going to make this thing heavy. It's 1628 kilos now, so I think it defaulted to rear-wheel drive when I changed the body of the car. I don't like the fact it's got heavier, and it still doesn't have ABS, which is not good on a heavier car. But now we have all-wheel drive, which is going to help this thing a fair amount. All I can really do is like raise the force of the front and the back, though. Or maybe just the front, like... That's all I can really do. I mean, the weight balance has probably got slightly better. Yeah, 40 front, as it should be. Instead of being pretty badly rear biased, it's a lot better now. I mean, I think it was when I changed the body. So if we can go... Yeah, 7.4 is pretty good for the back. It's not complaining about the brake... what do you call it? We can stiffen up the front leaves a little. Just a little. Because there's more weight there. And do we want softer or firmer dampers? 30. Like, I feel if we can go with maybe 2.0 on dampers and maybe stiffen them up a little, we should be there. So, Fianto all bars. Yeah, it likes having a bit on the front now. Okay, I feel like this car is getting better. I wasn't so sure about it before. That was because it was rear-wheel drive and I didn't quite expect to tune a rear-wheel drive car, so I wasn't sure exactly what I should do. I'll go with more anti-roll on the front, because the more I think about it, the more I don't want this thing tipping too much. It is tall because of a suspension, so at the least I could do is try and tune that suspension so it doesn't roll. I'll probably tune this for drivability, because 3200 is still kind of stiff. So I'll try and tune the anti-roll bars for max drivability, because I don't think rolling is going to be an issue with leaf springs as much as it might be with certain independent suspension types. And I'll tune it as well until the drivability, until the sportiness starts taking a hit. So, or even drivability, there we go. So drivability, I think, has half decent settings for the anti-roll. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good numbers. I can try and adjust the... Yeah, the sportiness goes up a little with less anti-roll, but then that hits the drivability. So I'll leave that on 1.5. I'm doing what I can here with, as I say, a flawed build. I think that's okay. I'll double check the brakes are doing the best they can do. Because I don't want the brakes to, like, hold this car back. So 107, we're running a lot of force on the front. I mean, the fear is that the anti-lock brakes will hurt it. I've had some of these random cars and they handle okay without anti-lock brakes. Somehow I don't feel like this car is going to be one of the cars that's going to handle okay. Granted, I don't know. This thing could be very quick but uncontrollable. Somehow I don't think it's going to be the case with the brakes, but it could be. Okay. It's crazy to think now, because as I say, it's been like 3 and a bit hours of car design, and I've finally done it. Probably helps that even with rear-wheel drive, a lot of this stuff was already done and sorted. How quick does it accelerate now in its current build? 5.3, okay. About what I would expect. Not the quickest, but still, it does get going. We've got exactly 40% of the weight at the front, to be honest. The all-wheel drive does actually help the weight balance. It makes it heavier on the front, yes. But it does help the thing have balance that it otherwise wouldn't have had. Even though it's not the greatest, it's still pretty decent weight balance in the grand scheme of things. So, there we go. It should be in beam. So I can bring up the image. And then we can get this taken to the game. Oh, my head is blocking the wheel. Actually, speaking of which, I will move the avatar in a moment because it blocks the speedometer if I don't move the avatar. There we go. Click on Beam and G, which for some reason is opening. It brought up the like pre-launcher on the left display, which is not the display I game on. Okay, seems to be loading in. As I say, I will move across. Not free roam. More time trials. It's crazy to think, because I've spent so long building it, it's crazy to think this is actually a real car. And I do fear it. But it will be driven. The flying pickle. Okay, so this positioning should work. There we go. Okay. Let us see how bad this thing is. I think it's dual clutch. I'm gonna use manual. Just because I feel like I can get more out of it that way. I don't think there's anything here for traction assist. I will turn the music off because the engine is what we want to hear here. Pretty loud engine from what I can tell. So I'll just I'll check OBS. That is very loud. Can turn it down, I think, maybe minus 30 decibels. That is still kind of loud. I think that should be acceptable enough. Turn it down to 31.3, so it's just a little quieter, maybe. Nah. I think for minus 30 decibels for this car sounds about right. Because it's just, if it's bad when I'm driving, I can't do anything about it then. The backs of those seats are like white. I'm sure they were carbon fibre in automation. Oh, the plushie has no texture. I don't think it had that issue before when I did it. When I did export it. Very strange. Anyway, the interior, is that there? No, the interior cam doesn't work. It doesn't always work. I'll probably just use the paddles on the 2-speed. I've made it get very hot. It cooled down well, though, actually. This is nice and cool. Don't let me down now, leaf swings. You know what? It has better grip than I expected. Like, you can kind of tell it's on bad tyres, but it does have some grip despite that. And I can go on the dirt like that. It actually takes it. Wow, this thing is kind of loud. You know what? It feels slow, but it feels like I can push it. I think this engine does have good torque at the very least. So I think it's about like 74, if I remember correctly. Maybe 71 to 74, somewhere around there. Where, yeah, this does understeer. Where the gearing had to change, yeah. So I think it's like 71-ish, where you have to shift. This is just important to remember, because I have to go, oh dear, it's sliding there. I mean, as I say, there's 450 horsepower. It's not insane, but these tyres are not what you want. Now, here I have to be particularly careful. The thing is, I believe, still making positive aero just about on the front and a bit more on the back. So it shouldn't be the least stable thing at speed. But yeah, you can tell the rear just wants to step out. And I don't think that's even a tuning thing. I think it's just that there's no tyre grip. Yes, like here, the brakes are not the most reassuring, but as I say, these tyres, they just feel like they have no grip at all. And they are cross-ply off-road tyres, so that's kind of to be expected. I think the one upside is, it's got 2 gears, so I'm not just chucking 450 horsepower at the ground all of the time. That's only when I really step on it and get this thing going at some speed. So you can manage your speed better than you might think, just because it's not putting it all down. Like, as I say, it's not, this car is not as painful to drive as I expected. Like, as I said, I expected this thing to end up in a hedge if you go and try and put any power down. The thing is not. I mean, it has got the ESC light on. I don't think it has ESC because it's got nothing. It's not got traction control or ESC or any of that. It does show, like, comfort and sport drive modes. I think that's all fictitious and it doesn't actually have them, but, you know, the whole exporter doesn't quite know how to handle a car this basic. So it just, like, assumes it's got them. Or maybe at least in 2020 it just assumes it's got them. At least, hey, you can try and drown out this unnecessarily loud engine with an 8-track player. I think we have a premium 8-track player. Somehow I made that corner. Granted, it was very slow, but somehow I didn't fly into a barrier. The crazy thing is, because I'm so on edge driving this all the time, I'm not going full throttle. Like, it doesn't make you want to push it. It's the strangest feeling. Like, it almost wants to be driven slowly. Maybe it's going to have some speed. Like, I doubt this thing's going to be the slowest on the leaderboard, because despite everything, it does have some controllability. But there you'll see, the understeer is real, and then the oversteer is real when you get too fast with it. It's just the problems are minor enough because the transmission stops it putting down too much power most of the time. Okay, so got good run onto this straightaway. If I get everything right, the 3rd lap will be decent, but I don't know. The thing does feel a little wayward at speed. The one advantage I can say it has, it does not feel like it's ever going to roll over. Which I guess it wouldn't, it's got no grip. We've got no ABS, remember? Yeah, I could feel it, it just wanted to go. Like, you may even see there, it was just sliding. And that wasn't me trying to slide it, that was me trying to go in a straight line and just letting the car drift a bit off power, because that was the only way I was ever going to control it. First gear is okay, it just doesn't have any power shifting into second, but I don't trust putting the power down into second. I mean, as I say, the lack of power you have on that upshift is probably saving it, if anything, to be honest. Like, there is speed here, but in a world where some of these have race tyres and they actually weigh a lot less, this is just nothing. Yeah, you cannot shift up out of gear too much. I tried that, it didn't work. It's almost like, what seems crazy, this, yeah, it's almost like these tyres have no grip at the side direction, but they have a lot of grip kind of straight forwards and backwards, and they don't have grip if you have a car turning at all. It's a bit of an odd way to explain, but that's how it feels. Like, you can put the power down, and it does put the power down, but if you're trying to corner with the power, it just has no grip at the sides. Like, it's very strange. I've not had a car that feels quite like it in that regard. I mean, maybe the front leaf springs also have something to do with that. Granted, as I say, the thing is a little lumpy on the suspension. I don't think that's the biggest issue. Okay, I'll admit I left that corner too late. That was the only way I was going to save it, basically. By accepting I'm going to go off the track a little and just try and recover it as quickly as possible. Okay, I'm in second a bit too early. Like, I'm foot to the floor now, just so you know. Below that shift point, it just doesn't really have any speed going for it. Like, I thought I could make it without shifting down, and maybe shifting down would have been the wrong decision, but at the same time, you're not getting anywhere that way. I made it quite well over that curb. I didn't understeer that time. Like, I think this is probably still going to be my fastest lap, just because I know the vehicle a little now. Like, there you see, I knew to step on it because it could just about handle the power, but, you know, it's scary. The thing is, it's okay when you're just, you know, driving it, but when you've got to step on the power, that's when things start getting scary. And like, as I say, it can. I'm going very light on the brakes here. Very light, and you see, it just started to slide. I do not want to go too fast into here, so I'm stepping a little harder on the brakes. Just let it easily slow down so I don't go off the course. First gear because of the speed we're going at. Step on it here. That was me just hoping. Thankfully, the suspension did just about recover as we entered the straightaway a little more. But, yeah. There we go. It was trying to brake in a straight line. I couldn't do much but just keep braking there. Like, I mean, you'll see, I don't think the driving, honestly, this lap is that bad. The car looks wayward, but the car handles very wayward. And, you see, if you're out of gear, that makes it even harder, because you have to be in the right gear at the right time to kind of get that speed out of it. It's a shame. This engine in a better car could have been amazing. I can just tell. The engine, like, feels and sounds incredible, but this car is not feeling and sounding incredible. The engine is, like, the one redeeming feature. So I can go a bit wide, then accelerate here. And on we go. Third lap felt pretty good overall. Like, you're never going to get a perfect lap in this, but third lap felt like I was doing decently well. So if we go here, let's see. I expect this fully to be one of the slower cars. Yeah, it's nowhere near the top. It's consistent at least. Like, all 3 laps were within 2 seconds of each other. The flying pickle, the Bricky's speed. Okay, to be fair, that car did, I think, roll over a few times. That was probably one of the bad laps. The Bricky's speed was quick, though. The fact that it can compete with that at all, even without rolling over, is impressive. The Maxwell wagon, that was like the SUV type thing. Beat it. I mean, there's different runs here. It's the status box, yeah. That had leaf springs on the front. That was not on the stream, though. Toasty Wheels Turbo. So, a lot of fast cars, and then there is this, which looks like it could be fast, but no, it is not. So what's below it? Wait a minute, so... No, sorry, I say this is consistent. I don't know what lap that was, but the Flying Pickle did a slower lap there. That was probably like the first lap or something. No, I think the second lap it did kind of spin, so it's probably that one. Okay, yeah, like, the Bricky's speed, the fact it beat anyone with that is impressive. Unless... I'm thinking, No, I think the quickest speed is the one I'm thinking of, like the MPV type thing. Biblically accurate minion, okay. I need to try and put into perspective where this is on the leaderboard. So the road boat, that was very slow. Yeah, not Stang, that was awful. Wait, Rover 75? Have we beaten the Rover 75? Yes, okay. Okay, that in its own way is a victory. It's beaten my, like, canonical successor to the Rover 75 by, yeah, 7.8. Ooh, 8 seconds faster than my kind of law-accurate Rover 75 successor. That's a victory if I've ever seen one for, what, a disaster of a car. So, yeah, it's slow. And it's not all that controllable, but it's not the slowest it could be. So we've got the biblically accurate minion, which is just a generally good sports car. One in there. Where did the final biblically accurate minion run? Okay, I think, if I'm reading this correctly, there's 3 laps of biblically accurate minion. This beat that by about 3 seconds. It's like, okay, to gauge where it is, if this thing, the disaster that it is, can beat the biblically accurate minion, which was an entirely decent, acceptable sports car, I think that's kind of a win, honestly. So, yeah, it also has Maxwell's. Honestly, I think that's it. I think the Maxwell's made this go quicker. And it's a crazy thing, though. It's almost like, because this keeps me on edge, I was able to control it because the car, like, stops me wanting to push it and try and get more performance out of it. Like, I know I have to be cautious with this every time I'm driving it. It should be pretty good off-road, though. That's the one redeeming place it might have. Because with these tyres, it might be a little better off-road. So just take it around one of these more off-roady areas and see how it grips. Because if this has actual grip off-road, if it has similar grip to what it does on tarmac off the road, then there is a chance that, you know, it could be one of the better cars. Just in a randomly drawn event, this has a bit of a chance off-road compared to the others. It would somewhat redeem it. As I say, also beat the biblically accurate minion, so it's not slow, it's just scary. Oh, almost hit that. First gear, it's got good strong power all through first gear. And yes, it is gripping here, as I expected. But first gear, it has good solid power all through first gear. And then it's in second gear, you just have very little unless you're at that point. Then it kind of puts the power down. Like, as you may see, generally off-road, this can actually do a lot. Let's try going over here. Leaf swings on the front bouncing. This is actually kind of enjoyable off-road. It's not enjoyable on the road, though. Let's try jumping it a bit more. Yeah, as I say, for what it is, it's a surprisingly decent off-roader, and that is a mess. Hey, look. The Maxwells here are protected. If you ever wanted to win, then there is one. Those Maxwells in the front are protected. The other Maxwells, we don't talk about them. Front is very protective of Maxwells. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for today. With this crazy thing I have built, once again, but perhaps even wilder than other ones the wheel has told me to build. So, I'll leave it here and I'll say goodbye